It's Thursday, October 30th, 2025, and here's the latest happenings inside the federal machine. President Trump had a visit with Xi Jinping yesterday in South Korea, and today he shared a truth post detailing his visit and how outstanding the meeting went. He lays out details which both sides of the aisle ought to be celebrating. And Joe Edlow was sworn in today by the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, to serve as the Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And also, we have Abooga-zah-lay, who is running for U.S. Congress in the 9th District of Illinois. She has been federally indicted for the obstruction of federal agents during a riot she was engaged in. Also, a third billboard honoring Charlie Kirk was vandalized in Asheville, North Carolina. A suspect was subsequently arrested, and we have the body cam footage of that arrest. And per the Secretary of War, Hegseth, another kinetic strike occurred in the Pacific Ocean against a narco-terrorist vessel, killing 4 traffickers. And there's a lot more to dig through, as you can see, so we're just going to dive right in. And if you enjoy the video, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you decide to drop a comment, I may just read that comment on the next episode. And any article that you see in the video will be linked in the description below. And I've got this from Rapid Response 47. It was posted 22 hours ago, so it was just barely after I wrapped up the show last night. And this is in regard to the president. He's on the ground at Jimhae International Airport in South Korea, where he will soon meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. So let's take a look at his arrival. Have a look at this real quick. Rolling up in the caddy. In the Beast. Very noisy. Very noisy in South Korea. It's always noisy in South Korea. All right, so I got the next one. Same place, Rapid Response. The president shakes hands with China's President Xi after their historic meeting in South Korea. So let's have a look at them being cordial with one another. Peace through strength. Amidst the insane trade war that they've been engaging against each other. And China trying to bottleneck rare earth minerals, which is very problematic for not just the United States, but for the entire West. I mean, looks good. He's whispering into his ear. Something reassuring, hopefully. Something peaceful yet strong. Damn, he's rolling into Rolls, isn't he? Looks like a Rolls Royce. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's BYD. Maybe it's one of those Chinese fancy electric vehicles that they sell for like $8,000. All right, from Rapid Response once again, the president bids farewell to South Korean officials before taking off to return to Washington. And the quality is atrocious, man. All right, well, we get the idea. He's shaking hands. He's saying his goodbyes and everything. Yeah, that's obviously what he does, just shake hands. We don't hear anything from him, so I'll just move on to the next thing, but I will get to his True Social post here in just a minute. I believe it, yeah, it's coming up right after this quick video clip from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. All the congratulations should go to President Trump. His relationship with President Xi set the tone for a meeting built on mutual respect and understanding. President Trump is commanding respect around the world like no other leader.
All the congratulations should go to President Trump. He has a
damn right
relationship with President Xi. The mood in the room was one of great respect, but also between two men who knew each other quite well and knew what they were getting into. I think what was very helpful for today's meeting was my counterpart, the Vice Premier, Huli Feng, and I had 2 days of very tough and
Trump looks happy, though, doesn't he?
in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia,
the meeting went
earlier in the week. So
we'll just see if whatever he was promised holds
Xi
up.
Walked in the room and said, I think we can agree on the consensus reached in Malaysia. And so the two leaders were able to discuss more bigger picture ideas during the conversation, including what the remainder of President Trump's term would look like, because I think the Chinese realize that with President Trump in office...
Hold on a second. China, planned rare earth export curbs paused for a year. So China agreed. Damn, dude, Trump is such a G, man. So he got China to pause that for an entire year, which is absolutely incredible. And I cannot believe that China did that, because I would assume that China is doing that just to try to make a geopolitical move to try to inflict some damage on not just the American economy, but the economies throughout the West by restricting the amount of rare earths that get exported, which is gonna cause a chokehold with our AI development, other electronics, automotive, things like that. So for him to pause it for an entire year, it really gives us a much better advantage, because we're up in Alaska, we're in Utah, we're in Nevada, I'm sure we're in other states. I think we're beyond the speculation stages with regard to rare earths. We're actually breaking ground, and we're going to start mining this stuff immediately so we can become more self-sufficient, which is amazing. So great news, man. That's really good news. I'm just now learning that he paused it for a year.
Opportunity to reset the relationship in terms of mutual respect. President Trump is commanding respect around the world like no other leader.
Fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. So we've got this. It's a bit of a long-winded one, but I'm sure every word is worth reading and hearing. So from Donald J. Trump, his Truth Social, I had a truly great meeting with President Xi of China. There is enormous respect between our two countries, and that will only be enhanced with what just took place. We agreed on many things, with others, even of high importance, being very close to resolved. I was extremely honored by the fact that President Xi authorized China to begin the purchase of massive amounts of soybeans and sorghum and other farm products. Our farmers will be very happy. In fact, as I said once before during my first administration, farmers should immediately go out and buy more land and larger tractors. I would like to thank President Xi for this. Additionally, China has agreed to continue the flow of rare earth, critical minerals, magnets, and etc. openly and freely. Very significantly, China has strongly stated that they will work diligently with us to stop the flow of fentanyl into our country. Yeah, well, I think we've been down that road before, so I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. They will help us end the fentanyl crisis. China also agreed that they will begin the process of purchasing American energy. Really? Oh, man, that's a big blow against Russia if that actually holds up. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. Okay, in fact, why the hell did they cut this off? Damn it. Okay. Oh, never mind. Okay. All right. I got it. They actually included the last sentence up top. So purchasing American energy. In fact, a very large scale transaction may take place concerning the purchase of oil and gas from the great state of Alaska. Chris Wright, Doug Burgum, and our respective energy teams will be meeting to see if such an energy deal can be worked out. And we're going to get to something that happened in court today with regard to Alaska and energy, which is great news for probably for this exact deal right here. I mean, this just came out of court today, so I'm going to get to that. I think it's near the end of the episode, but regardless, I'll bring it up again once I get to it. So Chris Wright, Doug Burgum, and our respective energy teams will be meeting to see if such an energy deal can be worked out. The agreements reached today will deliver prosperity and security to millions of Americans. After this historic trip to Asia, I am now heading back to D.C. I want to thank the great countries of Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea for being so generous, gracious, and hospitable. Also, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, who were at the dinner last night hosted by His Excellency Lee Jae-myung. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being brought into our country because of them. Our nation is strong, respected, and admired again, and the best is yet to come. Hell yeah, dude. Are you getting tired of all the winning yet? So much winning. So much winning. And I got this from Rapid Response. This is in regards to Ukraine. Quote, Ukraine came up very strongly. We talked about it for a long time, and we're both going to work together to see if we could get something done, says the president on his meeting with President Xi. We're going to work together on Ukraine.
Ukraine came up very strongly. We talked about it for a long time, and we're both going to work together.
Oh man, some turbulence.
To see if we can get something done. We agree the sides are, locked in, fighting, and sometimes you have to let them fight. I guess crazy, but he's going to help us, and we're going to work together on Ukraine. There's not a lot more we can do. The oil, he's been buying oil from Russia for a long time. It takes care of a big part of China, and I can say India's been very good on that front, but we didn't really discuss the oil. We discussed working together to see if we could get that war finished. It doesn't affect China. It doesn't affect us. And I'd like to see it done on the basis. I don't like to see 6, 7, 8,000 young people, mostly young people, for the most part soldiers, be killed.
I'm telling you what, man, his spirits seem really high, man. He seems he's got some energy going. He's definitely in a good mood. So, yeah, that meeting had to have gone just better than well. Well, he did describe it as going extremely well. So, everything that he laid out it's all good news. It's all good news with the soybean, which means that China is probably going to scale back on buying soybean from Brazil. So they're going to start purchasing soybeans from us again, which, by the way, they didn't buy a single soybean from the United States this year. And usually they buy millions of tons of soybeans from the United States. China does. So with the rare earth minerals, and also a huge bombshell, in my opinion, with them trying to broker a deal with getting energy from the United States. And I don't know if they're going to eventually cut Russia off. I doubt it, because Russia's right next door to China, literally next door. So it's probably going to be difficult for us to supply China with cheaper oil and gas than Russia. However, with regard to Alaska, we're not really all that far away. Could you imagine in 15, 20 years? Look, I actually don't even really want to imagine it, but I'll say it anyway. To have a pipeline constructed from Alaska into China, and we're just cranking out just billions and billions of dollars worth of energy. But I don't know, man. That sounds like actually a really bad idea. I think we should be working on cutting China off. But look, if we have to engage in trade relations, including supplying them energy, and if we're getting a fair rate out of it, then, so be it. I mean, even though it's big oil who ends up really winning at the end of the day, to be honest. All right, so DOW rapid response. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but I had no choice. Russia is second, and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I'm assuming underground testing. I think that's the only thing that's still legal today, to do deep underground testing of nuclear weapons. Maybe underwater, but I think that's also been made illegal, isn't it? During the whole nuclear treaty that was signed a few decades ago. So I don't know, man. Testing nuclear weapons. All right, I guess so if we need it. I mean, look, they would know better than I. All right, so Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. This is in regards to the narco-terrorist vessel that was taken out. Of course, posted, it was late last night, wasn't it? Well, 7:27 p.m. last night, so I just barely missed this. So technically this happened yesterday. Well, not technically, it did happen yesterday. I just didn't quite get it in time. But that's all right. Better late than never, I guess. So earlier today, at the direction of President Trump, the Department of War carried out a lethal kinetic strike on yet another narco-trafficking vessel operated by a designated terrorist organization in the Eastern Pacific. This vessel, like all the others, was known by our intelligence to be involved in illicit narcotics smuggling, was transiting along a known narco-trafficking route and carrying narcotics. 4 male narco-terrorists were aboard the vessel and killed during the strike, which was conducted in international waters. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. The Western Hemisphere is no longer a safe haven for narco-terrorists bringing drugs to our shores to poison Americans. The Department of War will continue to hunt them down and eliminate them wherever they operate. So let's take a quick look at this. Probably no sound, because there never is. But that's all right. We don't need sound, even though it would be a little more badass. But bam! Taken out. They were just sitting still. They weren't even moving. And it seems like most of these vessels aren't even moving, which is just baffling to me. Like, why aren't they just surrendering? And if they are trying to surrender, which is why they stopped their boat, then I absolutely am extremely against what they're doing, because if they're surrendering, dude, they're surrendering. Look, I don't even see them, dude. Like, where are they? There's clearly no, there's no cabin underneath or anything. So, I mean, clearly looks like bales of drugs or bricks or whatever you want to call it. Maybe they're sitting back here. I'm not sure. Or that maybe that's one of them. 1, 2. Looks like might be a couple there, I guess, possibly. But yeah, anyway, it took them out. The drug problem, little by little, is being taken care of. There's a couple square groupers right there floating in the water. You know, the Democrats, they like to say that there's no drugs on any of these vessels, like trying to get all conspiratorial, that they're just like innocent people just going out for just a joyride out in the middle of international waters. Even though most of these vessels don't look like they have any equipment whatsoever, certainly no fishing equipment. So, all right, so that happened yesterday. And Secretary Kristi Noem, I had the honor of formally swearing in Joe Edlow as DHS Gov, which is Homeland Security and the Department of Homeland Security's Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Joe previously served in various roles with USCIS, which is U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, during President Trump's first administration, including Deputy Director for Policy and Chief Counsel. Joe has been a critical part of DHS, and I know he will be relentless in his work to restore integrity to our legal immigration system. So there he is, taking his oath, and now we have a head of that department. All right, Secretary Noem, one more time. So President Trump and I stand with the brave men and women of ICE Gov, who are now facing an 8,000% increase in death threats against them. Every day, our ICE officers are making our schools, streets, and neighborhoods safer by removing vicious criminal illegal aliens. Sanctuary politicians like Governor Pritzker of Illinois and Gavin Newsom, obviously from California, should be thanking American law enforcement instead of demonizing them.
By what Mayor Johnson's doing, by what Governor Pritzker is doing, it's endangering lives, and they need to stop. They need to stop because there's consequences to it. Their words have consequences, and we're seeing that. An 8,000% increase in death threats against law enforcement, that's horrific. That shouldn't be happening in America. That shouldn't happen anywhere in the world, and I blame them. I place the blame squarely on their shoulders.
Yeah, well, they're not going to stop because they're Democrats we're talking about. They just double down, double down, double down, double down. So the 1,000% increase is with regards to assaults, attacking, assaulting physically agents. And the 8,000% increase is death threats specifically. So just in case you wonder, you're like, wait, how did it go from 1,000 to 8,000% overnight? Well, they're two different things. But all right, so Homeland Security. If you are here driving on our streets illegally and our highways, you're endangering our citizens, and your days are numbered. Secretary Noem, through our 287G partnership with the Indiana State Police, ICE has arrested 223 illegal aliens, including truck drivers, in Northwest Indiana as part of Operation Midway Blitz, which of course is up near the Chicago area, the Gary, Indiana area, Lake Michigan area.
Now, through our 287G partnership that we have with the state of Indiana, we have run an operation recently which has allowed to hundreds of arrests that has brought people in that are breaking our laws. Through that partnership, 223 illegal aliens have been arrested and taken off of our roads. Of those, 146 of them were drivers. That includes 46 semi-truck drivers and another 82 of them that were either box trucks, buses, moving vans, vehicles such as that. The CDLs that were issued to those individuals were issued from over a dozen different states. Many of those individuals could have been licensed
probably
in a
all
state
blue states
somewhere and received their CDL in another state. But overwhelmingly, these individuals have come from sanctuary states such as California,
obviously,
and Illinois and New York. If you are here
can't even read our road
streets
signs
illegally and our highways, you are endangering our citizens, and your days are numbered. I want to thank Secretary Sean Duffy from the Department of Transportation for all of his work, too. You've seen him focus on the effort to get these individuals off of our streets, and I want to thank him for doing that and implementing new policies and regulations that will keep our citizens safe.
It's almost impossible to imagine the clown world that we're really living in. Imagine taking that clip back like 20 years and showing that to people. They'd be like, oh my God, dude, what the fuck is going on, man? I really don't know if I really want to be around for that long to witness what the hell's going on. It's just been absolutely ridiculous. Just on every freaking level, just completely ridiculous. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Governor Pritzker is not helping ICE with our criminal warrants like he pretends he is. He's sheltering the criminal aliens that our operations target. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons would love to have a common sense conversation with him, but the governor only wants to spread a dangerous false narrative, or a dangerous false narratives, about our hardworking agents and officers. I get what he's saying, but let's hear the clip.
So we've even had cases where we've had criminal warrants. You know, you look at a lot of these cases, they talk about raids in Chicago. We don't do raids. It's targeted enforcement operations that, oh, yes, Governor, we had criminal warrants, yet you're still putting targets on the brave men and women of ICE. So it's completely false. I'm going to keep pushing back against the governor. It's funny, actually, when he was in studio with Brett, I was down the hall in another studio. I kind of wish we had a conversation face-to-face. But, of course, we didn't, because they don't want to have a conversation with me. Because what the brave men and women of ICE are doing are protecting people.
Isn't that fucked up that they're both in the exact same building, both giving interviews on national TV? Where's Pierce Morgan when you need him? Because he would have paired them up together, at least would have tried to. But Governor Pritzker won't talk to him. This is the acting ICE director. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. What better of a debate that the American people would enjoy watching with some of the finest popcorn you can find in the grocery store than the acting ICE director with the governor of Illinois? That would be an absolute banger, especially if we got more than like 5 minutes on just a news segment. If we actually got a legit 30-minute, maybe even an hour, if we were lucky enough to see that, that would be great. But of course, Governor Pritzker isn't going to do that because he's not going to be able to base anything that he's saying on any tangible reality, because the acting ICE director is going to come with a lot of facts, data, statistics.
People, not only in Chicago, but all across the United States. And that's what a lot of people aren't getting. What I would want to tell the governor is, he says he wants people to watch the videos. I want people to go to our social media sites, look at our press releases, and actually see who we're arresting. So when the governor says that we're not
it's biased.
in accordance with law,
it's so biased.
We're working
it's a government agency.
Congress has enacted us to do. It's a federal law enforcement mission. And look at the public safety threats. The Tren de Aragua members, MS-13, sex offenders, child rapists, fentanyl dealers. The list goes on and on that we got out of Chicago. And I really wish we would get some credit for that. I tell you, I would have loved to have a conversation with them, because I think a lot of this is, you know, we need to have common sense conversations, right? We need to stop all the rhetoric. You know, ICE is doing a law enforcement mission. That's what we are sworn to do, and that's what we are signed up to do. We don't want to be doxxed. We don't want our families threatened. We don't want assassination attempts like Brett pointed out. We're coming off a sniper attack in a major U.S. city where that lone sniper, that domestic terrorist, had an app that showed the location of ICE agents and officers that could be tracked. Yet they want to go ahead and demonize us, call us Nazis, call us Gestapos. But yet, all across the country, we are arresting public safety threats, foreign terrorist organizations, yet they still want to demonize us every turn.
Well, what's even crazier is the state of California, they're building an app, that exact same type of app, where they could actually track the location of individual ICE agents. It's insane. Absolutely ridiculous. It is a ridiculous episode today. All right, this is from Greg Price. You surrounded and physically blocked a federal agent's car because illegal aliens are being deported. So this lady, she is running for Congress. And let me double check. She's running for Illinois, U.S. Congress in the 9th District of Illinois. So first, let me think. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to play this clip first. So she's blocking a federal agent's vehicle. Every single one of these people should be arrested because they're obstructing the normal duties of federal agents, which can come with an 8-year prison sentence maximum. And for some reason, everybody keeps insisting, or not insisting, fucking demanding that federal agents start arresting these people, and they're not doing it. They're still not arresting them, even though even President Trump himself said that we're going to crack down on all these people who are obstructing their daily operations, and they're not. So anyway, she ended up getting indicted. So let's see what she did. Oh, come on, dude. God damn it. Hang on. All right, there we go. So yeah, again, this individual here. Look at this bullshit, dude. They're throwing fucking stuffed animals. They're children. Look at this. They're throwing fucking plushies at the car. Did I mention the clown world? So, all right. So I've got this from Kat Abughazaleh. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. I had it phonetically spelled out. I think it's Abooga-zah-lay. Abughazaleh. And she says, I've been charged in a federal indictment sought by the Department of Justice. This political prosecution is an attack on all of our First Amendment rights. I'm not backing down, and we're going to win. No, dude, if you're standing in front of a vehicle while they're trying to conduct their normal operations, that is obstruction. That's not First Amendment. No, a First Amendment right would be you standing on the sidewalk holding up a sign and shouting at them from a distance. So anyway, let's hear what she has to say.
I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois, and the Department of
Hilariously.
Justice is charging 6 people, including myself, with federal crimes for exercising our First Amendment rights near ICE's Broadview process.
And you were on camera.
This is a political
so you will be found guilty.
And a
That's going to happen.
To silence dissent, a right protected.
But she'll probably, actually, you know what? I don't think she will plead guilty. That'd be in her best interest to plead guilty because they'll give her the most gentle slap on the wrist ever because she's running for Congress. So, rules for thee, not for me, 2-tier justice system. So she might have to do like a half an hour of community service at Goodwill and maybe not serve a minute in jail. If they end up handcuffing her at any point, it'll be in the front, of course. They're going to treat her like some little pampered princess.
Under the First Amendment.
Because it's Illinois.
This case is a major push by the Trump administration to criminalize protest and punish anyone who speaks out against them. That's why I'm going to fight these unjust charges, but I need your help to do it. As I and others have exercised our First Amendment rights, ICE has hit,
obstruction's not First Amendment, lady.
Shot with pepper balls and tear gassed hundreds of protesters.
For obstruction,
because
of
we
course.
had the gall to say that masked men coming into our communities, abducting our neighbors, and terrorizing us cannot be our new normal. And because Chicago doesn't back down from bullies in masks who tear gas our neighborhoods, this administration has resorted to weaponizing the federal justice system to scare us into silence. But we're not going to be silent. The Trump administration wants you to be afraid of—
Oh my God, this has a whole nother minute.
Anti-democratic power grabs. And there are plenty of reasons to be afraid right now, but we have to overcome that fear. This case targets our rights to protest, speak freely, and associate with anyone who disagrees with the government. And while we have seen the unhinged and unlawful tactics this administration has used against the American public, it's important to remember they're doing this because they are scared. They are wrong. And they know they are on the wrong side of history. We cannot diminish ourselves in the face of these attacks. That's why we have to unite and stand up for humanity, our rights, and everyone terrorized by Trump's lawless secret police. You'll be hearing regular updates.
His lawless secret police, that's a riot.
And how we can use
Get
our
it, right?
constitutional rights to resist authoritarianism. And as scary as all of this is, I have spent my career fighting America's backslide into fascism. I'm not going to stop now.
Oh, so you're an activist.
And I hope you won't either.
Of course she's an activist. So let me remind you, she's running for Congress. These are people who are trying to run for House seats. And will she win? I don't know, man. AOC won. And she's probably just as brain dead as her. And yeah, they're running for seats in Congress. And look, I don't know. Not sure. Don't know anything about the polling or anything like that. It wouldn't surprise me for a second if she actually won. But yeah, these are the people that are attempting to run our country, which is absolutely brutally insane. So I'm going to take a quick look. I'm just curious to see, like, what does she currently do for a living, if anything? Maybe not. Maybe if I were to put my money on it, she probably works for either an NGO or maybe some like nonprofit or something. Actually, here, let me do this. What does do for a living? Give me the short. Give me the short. And we'll check on that. So yeah, indicted on charges of obstruction. She, I'm assuming, faces 8 years in prison because that's the status quo when it comes to obstructing federal agents. Clearly, definitely not an exercise of your First Amendment when you're putting your hands on a federal vehicle that's trying to move through a public roadway, trying to conduct lawful operations, federally lawful. Which, by the way, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the majority of Democrats didn't vote to pass the creation of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which I believe was in 2003. Maybe it was in 2002, but it was right after 9/11. But there were a sizable portion of Democrats. It was like 30-40% of Democrats actually voted in favor for creating ICE, which is quite interesting. So Kat Abughazaleh is a journalist. Oh, of course she's a journalist because, you know, almost all journalists today are just brain dead activists. Also a researcher, hilarious, and social media influencer. Oh, of course she is. Best known for her work at Media Matters for America. Oh man, this is making so much sense. Where she critiques far-right media like Fox News, She's also a political commentator whose writing has appeared in Mother Jones, never heard of it, The New Republic, never heard of it, and she's currently running for Congress in Illinois' 9th District. So if I had time, I'd look into that further to see, like, is she actually slated to win or expected to win, or, like, how's that looking? Of course, the election's going to be happening in, oh crap, I lost my place. It's going to be happening next November in 2026. That's when Congress is up for re-election. So got some time left before we start really seeing what's going to come of that. But I'm just glad I don't live in Chicago. Thank God, man. Thank God I don't live in Chicago. Do you want somebody like that representing you? I wouldn't. All right, so coming from Homeland Security, if you lay a hand on a law enforcement officer, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Homeland Security investigations arrested Carrillo, who was caught on tape throwing rocks at law enforcement. This violent rioter arrested by HSI was part of an agitator group called VC Defensa, a rapid response network that regularly impedes and obstructs law enforcement. You will not stop DHS law enforcement from enforcing our immigration laws, which are federal laws, of course. Exclusive from Fox News, cameras capture the moment Homeland Security investigators arrest an anti-ICE activist during a pre-dawn raid in Southern California. Izai Carrillo is accused of playing a leading role in violently targeting ICE agents during a raid at a pot farm earlier this summer. And just yesterday on the show, I showed a video where they, the video wasn't of them getting arrested. It was the video of them assaulting the agents by throwing rocks and busting out their windows while they were all trying to drive away from this pot farm. So that was on yesterday's episode. And I believe that there were 10 who were arrested yesterday. And here they are arresting yet another one. Yeah, we got sound, but it's quiet.
Go on A Street! Go on A Street! Get on A Street!
So if he's being arrested for assaulting a federal agent, he faces up to 20 years in prison.
Make sure you guys don't remember who
Because they were hurling these rocks. I mean, these rocks were shattering their windows as they were trying to drive off. So, yep. Wouldn't want to be in that dude's shoes. That's for damn sure. Heading down to the next one from Senator Dick Durbin, and we're going to get into the government shutdown because that's all the politicians want to be talking about. And yes, it is critically important that it remains on the table of discussion. It's been damn near 30 days, dude. 29 days, 20 hours, 45 minutes, 26 seconds as of this recording. So, of course, that's all they've been talking about. I can't wait for this government to reopen again because it's like almost 100% of what I come across has to do with the shutdown, and it's making me have to take like 3 times the amount of time to put together all the material for the show because there's just so much I have to weed through. And I don't want to select like 50 different government shutdown things because it's just, like people are just going to get tired of listening to the same thing. But regardless, it's very important. It's absolutely crucial that we keep up on what they're doing. So anyway, this comes from Senator Dick Durbin. Healthcare premiums will increase by over 100% next year. Nursing homes and rural hospitals are going to close. All right, well, where's your proof? Where's the data? Where's the sources? We are in a healthcare crisis, and the House of Representatives must come back to work today to solve it. All you got to do is reopen it. That's all you got to do. He's a senator. He could be one of the 5 that reopens.
Republican actions are going to be closing hospitals and clinics and nursing homes across this country. This is a crisis situation. We should resolve it as quickly as possible.
All right,
but we also feel strongly for these families and the possibility that other Republican actions are going to be closing hospitals and clinics and nursing homes across this country. This is a crisis situation. We should resolve it as quickly as possible.
Okay, well, that was just an offhand remark. I'd be curious to know where he's getting that information from. I mean, have there been nursing homes that have formally announced that they will be closing because Obamacare is going up? I mean, will there be? Potentially. I'm sure nursing homes close all the time. They're businesses. Businesses, they shut down all the time. What is it, like 85% of businesses that start up, they end up closing within the first 5 years? And 85% of those who happen to be successful, the 15% who do succeed after 5 years, that 85% of them end up closing within 10 years, something like that. All right, so Shelley Moore Capito. Leader John Thune is spot on. Are Senate Democrats really just waking up to the fact that the Schumer shutdown will result in consequences to the American people? Wake up. People are hurting. Let's open the government. This comes from Rapid Response 47. Leader John Thune nukes Democrats, and it gives a quote, so I'd just rather hear from him. It's a bit long, but
let me
probably
just
worth
point
listening
out,
to,
if
so
I might,
we'll see where he goes.
that we are 29 days into a Democrat shutdown. And the senator from New Mexico is absolutely right. SNAP recipients shouldn't go without food. People should be getting paid in this country. And we've tried to do that 13 times. And you voted no 13 times. This isn't a political game. These are real people's lives that we're talking about.
Yep.
And you all just figured
they are.
out 29 days in that, oh, there might be some consequences.
No
There are
shit.
people who run out of money. Yeah, we're 29 days in. And they've done their best to make sure that a lot of these programs are funded. But at some point, the government runs out of money. 13 times people over here voted to fund SNAP. 13 times they voted to fund WIC.
They did. It's
My
called the
ink
CR
and fat.
spending bill. Republicans voted yes.
Finally
Democrats are
realize
voting
this
no.
thing has consequences. Well, you know what?
Except John Fetterman. He's one of only two
What
Democrats that are
doing
voting
here.
yes to keep the government open.
They're making plans to keep the shutdown going. And they realize all of a sudden, 29
Told you
days
it's going to
in,
go on till next year.
that this is a real consequence, real life pain for American families. Something that results from their shutdown. So are they making plans to end the shutdown and reopen the government?
No.
Nope.
Nope. It's going to be a bad Christmas,
They're gonna
man.
propose a bill to
For a lot
fund
of
food
people.
stamps during
It's going to be
their
pretty rough.
shutdown. Mr. President, this request is a transparent admission that Democrats want to keep the shutdown for what? Another month? Longer?
Okay, now I'm going to quickly pause because I want to show you something. So at the end of this episode, I'm going to go through a newly created profile, and you're going to want to watch this because this is absolutely freaking wild. So let me go to the profile. It's called EBT of TikTok. If you're familiar with Libs of TikTok, they kind of used Libs of TikTok as inspiration. But EBT of TikTok, over 40 million Americans receive SNAP benefits through EBT cards. That's 1 in 8 Americans. Make America Work Again. So these are tons of videos that are on TikTok of people threatening to loot Walmart, smash windows, break into homes. This is absolutely wild. And look, these are brand new, 32 minutes ago. This one was an hour ago and like 2 hours ago. The most recent one was probably just a few minutes ago. Yeah, 11 minutes ago. So they're posting this stuff constantly. So there's damn near 200 videos on here already of just nonstop, like people just talking about the violence that they're going to be engaged in if the food stamps run out this Saturday. And it is crazy. So like this dude, man claims that Trump supporters will learn a lesson after going hungry from losing EBT. Well, little does he know that 90% of Trump supporters don't use EBT because they work all day. Maybe unless they're elderly. Leftist woman turns on other leftists who refuse to make donations to organizations that help people impacted by loss of EBT benefits. You sound like them. Man says he will distract grocery store employees so looters can escape with stolen goods. Just holler if you need a distraction. She has a message to EBT recipients. The problem is in the government shutting down is that y'all depend on the government to survive. Yeah, absolutely. See, so they got both sides. Woman says people should stand on business and tell their kids not this year on celebrating holidays and keep your money in your pockets to protest cuts to EBT. All right. Man says, fuck food stamps. Y'all selling the books anyway. Man mocks flexers who bragged about living lavishly on TikTok that are now crying over the EBT getting cut. That is fucking hilarious. I know exactly what he's talking about. That is amazing. Woman admits to not having income in 15 years while collecting federal handouts like EBT that she's entitled to. So this is going to get good, man. I thought about doing a completely separate video on just this alone, but I decided to just play it at the end of this episode, and then I'll just clip it, and I'll just drop the clip tomorrow. And because they just keep posting more and more of these, I'm definitely going to go through probably not all 200 of them, but I'm going to go through quite a few of these over the weekend for sure. I'm real excited about that because like these people are losing their fucking minds over this, and the Democrats created all of it. And it looks like some of the video responses that they posted are of people that are informing people that Democrats did this. They're the ones that are fully in control of this. All right, so anyway, let's get back to John Thune.
This bill is a cynical
who's the
attempt
majority
to provide
leader of the
political
Senate, by the
cover
way.
For Democrats to allow them to carry on their government shutdown for the long term. Now, I'll point out, we did 13 short-term clean CRs when they had the majority and President Biden was in the White House. 13. They've now voted 13 times against a clean CR. I have no idea.
If you're wondering what a clean CR is, the word clean in clean CR means that Republicans added nothing to this bill. Yes, the Republicans have a simple majority in the Senate, but they need 60 votes to pass spending bills in the Senate. But the Republicans did not add anything at all to this bill. This bill is simply a spending bill just to keep the government open. It's only like 27 pages long. It's about as basic as a spending bill can possibly get. In fact, this bill isn't even covering the entire next year's worth of spending. It's only a bill that was designed to cover the government for 6 weeks. That was it. And the Democrats are shutting down the government over a 6-week spending bill until at the end of November when the big spending bill is due to come up. I don't even think that's going to happen at this point. So just to clarify on that.
The Democrat leader said
the Republicans
that,
added
President
0
Trump
to this thing.
Could end this with a stroke of his pen. And he's right. We passed
It's almost
that
as if
bill
the Republican or the Democrats are declaring war.
A
war against the American people because they put party over
SNAP
country.
Beneficiaries, SNAP recipients get food assistance. But you know what else? TSA workers get paid. Air traffic controllers get paid. Border Patrol agents get paid.
Yeah,
Troops
guess what?
get
These
paid.
people, they talk to other people. I think Democrats are just depending on their constituents, their voters, to just be locked in on their phone, just getting brain dead on social media all day, developing their TikTok brain and getting lost in their Facebook echo chambers. But dude, when people go to work, like federal workers, they talk to other people. Now, the vast majority of people who work in the federal government who vote, well, specifically who work in Washington, D.C., they vote Democrat. So when they're not getting their paychecks, do you think they might starting to look a little more from maybe like a 20,000-foot view to really see what's actually going on? Because it's affecting them directly. They're not getting their paycheck. They're going to get behind on their car payments, on their mortgages and shit. Like, they're not just going to sit and just consume brain-dead political garbage. I think they're really going to like start asking themselves, like, what's really going on here? So that's why I think in just a small part of it as to how this is really going to backfire badly against Democrats.
These people here get paid who are working without pay. You want to extend that and keep that going?
Yeah, the Capitol Police, they're not getting paid either.
So the people
and they're
who
guarding
aren't
the
gonna
building
get
right now.
The benefit of what they're trying to do today, Mr. President.
The political
Or all
aides,
the
the
other
support staff for each
programs
member of
that are
Congress,
affected.
they're not getting paid either.
Head Start grants to law enforcement to fight fentanyl and hire more cops to protect communities.
And you
Rural
know what those
development
Democrats are
programs
doing
are
over
important in
there.
my state.
They're rolling their
Some from
eyes and
Mexico State
smiling
I've
and doing
seen
like
as
the
well.
jerk-off
But
motion to
support
them.
housing,
Like they're
utilities,
pulling that bullshit
infrastructure
over there. You know they
projects
are.
in rural communities. Small business loans. Certain direct loan and emergency programs that farmers rely on. National Guard training, critical to our nation's military readiness. Veterans transition assistance as they come out of service. Veterans cemetery services. Right now, there are no headstones, memorial certificates, cemetery maintenance.
It's ripple effect, man. It goes pretty far.
Programs that are at risk. Rental and housing
Like the government's
assistance.
bigger than you can imagine.
Delays in processing
Headstones.
FHA-insured loans. Delays in aircraft inspections and maintenance for air traffic control equipment. People that are currently not getting paid. I mentioned some of them, but air traffic controllers, TSA officers, Capitol Police, the people who protect us in this building, NOAA employees who are tracking hurricanes and other potential weather disruptions, disasters, food inspectors, other food and drug safety officials, mine safety inspectors, people who don't
The
have
nuclear
any certainty
stockpile.
right now, troops, Coast
80%
Guard,
furloughed.
ICE, Border Patrol, federal law enforcement, federal
Yeah, they don't care about them, of
wire-
course.
I should say federal wildland
Democrats, that is.
fighters, firefighters, extenders that have lapsed, telehealth, and
Well, and apparently there's small businesses around military bases that are they're being threatened, like financially being threatened with having to close their doors because the military is not getting paid, so they're not spending their money locally. So there's local businesses around military bases around the whole country that are suffering from this
at-home
too.
care, community health centers, teaching health centers, special diabetes programs, payments for ambulances,
Yep.
hospital
If they weren't paying
at-home
attention, dude, I
services,
think they're gonna wake up now.
other lapse
If they're not getting paid, dude.
authorizations,
Like, look, man, if you miss your paycheck, man, shit gets real really quick. Like, you stop, like, just brain dead, like, sitting in NPC mode, just consuming garbage all day. Like, if somebody's messing with my money, I'm going to figure out what the fuck's going on. I'm not just going to sit there and be like, yeah, Democrats, yeah, fuck the Republicans, yeah, it's all their fault. I'm not getting paid.
against
Come on,
cyber
man.
attacks.
Come on,
National
man.
flood insurance program to prevent closure, I should say, on homes in flood zones. That's what you're leaving on the table. The bill at the desk takes care of all of it.
In
Fund
minutes.
snap,
It'll
fund
take
quick.
minutes.
And yes, with the stroke of the president's pen, he can sign it into law, and everybody starts getting paid again.
Yeah. It'll literally take less than an hour. If they suddenly vote, okay, fine, we'll get 5 Democrat senators to vote yes. Like within an hour, everybody's SNAP benefits will get paid. Military will get their paycheck. Like everything will just ripple out across the whole government. Everything is back to 100%, right back to business. Like that's how immediately they can fix
Got to
this.
stop. Hostage taking. Now you want some political cover. How long is this going to go on? How much longer do you want to see it go on? Just out of curiosity. So you think this buys some time? You want the shutdown to go on for another month, or
No, 3,
and then
4,
we're gonna have
6
another
months.
people come down here and, well, let's carve this out or carve this out. Why don't we just open the government? I've never seen anything like this. I've been here
Yeah,
a good
they're
amount of
declaring
time.
war, man. I
I've
think they
seen
are.
Continuing
I think they're trying to
resolutions
fire
and
off the next civil
appropriations
war.
problems
The
and
radical
funding
left.
fights and government shutdowns. I've been through a few.
They want the unrest.
I've never seen anything like this.
They want the summer of love.
This just isn't done.
The winter of
You want to
love.
have a discussion about health care? Absolutely. Let's do it. Open the government. Let's do it. President will sit down with Democrats next week if you want to talk about health care. That's not what this is
Yeah,
about.
repealing Obamacare. At least they better.
So, Mr. President, we're not going to pick winners and losers. It's time to fund everybody who's experiencing the pain from this shutdown. The Democrats really want to fund SNAP and WIC. I have a bill for them.
They don't. Called the
Sitting
Clean
right there at
CR.
the desk. Clean, nonpartisan, CR to fund SNAP, WIC, and the entire government, and all the many programs and people that the Democrat SNAP bill completely ignores.
Democrat senators, they're getting paid.
Mr.
They got their
President,
paycheck.
Democrats have spent a month now, playing with people's livelihoods because the far left wing of their party won't let them accept a clean, nonpartisan CR. If they want to prevent damage from their shutdown, they can end the shutdown. The bill's right here at the desk.
Look, I just stand by that every day. I'm convinced. I'm getting more convinced that this is effectively a declaration of civil war. I think that's really what they want. I think they want the unrest, and that's why I've got a feeling that the government's going to be shut down for months, 5, 7, 10 months, maybe even a whole freaking year. Because if it's shut down for that long of a time, imagine the unrest that's going to happen as a result of that. And Democrats are behind all of it, and they're going to own all of it. And I just don't understand how they think they could have even the smallest fleeting chance of ever being in a position of power in Congress or in the Oval Office at any time soon, like in the next generation even. It's absolutely crazy. And plus, I've I've heard that Generation Z, they lean slightly more conservative than millennials did. So, or millennials do. So, I mean, that's definitely somewhat of a white pill, I guess. That's not the right color pill, I guess, but still, it's definitely looks a little brighter with Generation Z than it does with millennials, because, you know, I can't stand my generation, millennials. But anyway, whatever. So I'm just going to move on to the next thing from VP J.D. Vance. VP Vance, he slams Senate Democrats for their failure to negotiate and reopen the government for the American people. Quote, they are trying to take a hostage, and we can't reward that behavior. That's how a child behaves. That is not how a responsible governing party behaves.
Here is our very simple proposal to the Democrats. Let's sit down and come to a compromise and work it out. And you know what the Democrats' response to that is? Give us everything we want, or we're going to shut down the government and keep it shut down. That is not reasonable behavior. That's not how you do compromise in this town. That is the way that the Democrats have operated. They are trying to take a hostage, and we can't reward that behavior.
Which further convinces me that they're declaring civil war. Not officially, but they're trying to open the fucking door to it. I think that is exactly what their intentions are, because they asked for what they're asking for, the impossible. They know that the Trump administration and Republicans cannot give them money for illegal immigrants, and they sure as hell can't give them $1.5 trillion worth of money. It's a non-starter, and they know it, which I believe is why they were asking for the most insane shit, because now they can just blame Republicans for it, even though it's never holding any water. Anybody who you know pays attention for more than 5 minutes to what's really going on, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who's really at fault here.
If we do that, if we say, yes, of course, we'll give you everything that you want if you reopen the government, you know what's going to happen? In 3 months, they're going to come back to the administration, and they're again going to say, we're going to shut down the aviation industry. We're going to deny people SNAP benefits unless you give us exactly what you want. That's how a child
Yeah, he's got a good point.
That is not how a responsible government.
He's right. They probably will do that, too.
United States of America. And let me make one final point. And then,
Republicans have a history of caving, too.
Look, I've been a little bit unfair, and I want to correct this, because when I say the Democrats have shut down the government, it's actually the far left side of the Democratic Party, because to their great credit, 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Senate Republicans to vote to reopen the government. We need 5 more reasonable Democrats to put the American people first and reopen the government. That's all that we're asking. Let's talk about health care policy. Let's make sure that we ensure that Americans' health insurance premiums don't go up. We want that, and we're willing to work with people for it, but they've got to reopen the government first.
Well, yeah, it's too late at this point.
Not that dissimilar from mine. Sean O'Brien came from a background not that dissimilar from mine.
I mean, policies are getting renewed starting November 1st.
Who are fighting
or open enrollment or whatever.
Because they're worried about not being able to pay the credit card bill and the mortgage bill. There are parents who have to look their kids in the eye and say, you know what, we're not going to do football this year. We're not going to do basketball this year.
This is why it's crucial to have emergency savings, man.
Because the federal government is shut down and I'm not getting a paycheck. Do we want those people who keep the aviation system running to not be able to feed their families, to not be able to pay for some of the things that make life worth living? The answer to that question is absolutely. We want them to be able to afford a good life. The only way for that to happen is to reopen the government. It'll be good for those who fly. It'll be good for those who work in the aviation industry. It'll be good for the whole country.
There's not going to be much of an industry if they keep this closed for months and months.
Reopen the government. We need 5 Senate Democrats to join us. I hope that they will. Thank you, guys.
They're not, man. It's been a month. They haven't gained a single Senate Democrat since day one. I mean, they got John Fetterman, and then they got what's her name from Maine, and then they got an independent from I can't remember where, but there's 3 who side with the Democrats, and then Fetterman, who is a Democrat, who voted with Republicans. But then you got Rand Paul, who's a Republican. He voted with Democrats because he says, and I believe him, that this CR bill will add money to the national deficit, and he stated that any amount of money that's getting added to the deficit, no matter what, he's going to vote against it. So, in case you're wondering who the Republican was who voted against reopening the government and why, it's Senator Rand Paul, because he doesn't want to add money to the debt. Anyway, let's see. It might be the same. Actually, no. This actually might be a different part of it. But here, I'll just play this out.
You know, what we just did was a little roundtable with.
Looks like I had them backwards.
We've
Whoops.
got leaders of labor represented, We've got leaders of the businesses that are, of course, making the airline industry run. And I just wanted to hear from people about the stresses of the aviation industry in light of the fact of the shutdown. And here's what I
these
found
are all
out
like the
actually
heads
worries
of the
me a
airline
great
industry.
deal, because I think that as much as delays have gotten worse over the last couple of weeks, everybody here is very worried that we're going to see more delays, more stresses on the people who are actually making the aviation system run, and more problems for both the consumers but also the great workers who actually make this incredible shining jewel of the American economy actually work and work on time and work safely. Here are the things that I worry about. I worry about the people who are scanning our back.
You know, Democrats are actually kind of doing us a favor in a way. They're showing you what could really happen if too many American people depend on the federal government for their everyday needs. I mean, they're actually, it's almost a blessing in disguise, really, if you want to see any silver lining in this.
And making us get through the security line. I worry they're not getting paychecks. They're starting to get worried about how to feed their families and how to pay school tuition and everything else. I worry about the pilots who haven't gotten paid in a long time. I worry about the air traffic controllers who, of course, make this entire system extra safe. I worry about them, more worried about their credit card bill than they should be because they're not getting a paycheck because Democrats refuse to open the government. Now, I understand that a lot of Americans are sick of partisanship in Washington, D.C. Trust me, I've been here for 9 months in this job. I am sick of partisanship in Washington, D.C. But this is very, very simple. Every partisan dispute, every policy disagreement, all of these things we can talk about, we can reason through, we can disagree, we can shake hands and compromise on some of those issues, hopefully. But this is something that every single American, Democrat or Republican or Independent, should be able to agree on. Open the government. Stop this craziness and open the government. It's causing way too many problems, and some of the folks behind me are the people who are dealing with the problems.
And look, if you happen to live in the state of Florida, Publix, they allow open carrying of firearms inside their stores now because they were allowed to open carry now in the state of Florida. And Publix, they said they're just going to abide with state law. State law says you're allowed to open carry, and Publix says, okay, you can open carry inside our store. So if you happen to live in a sketchy part of town and there happens to be a Publix there and you're kind of worried about all the looting and the rioting and everything that could happen, which Florida's not really one of the states where you really see that because, we're a red state. At the end of the day, for the most part. Like, I know we've got our blue pockets here and there. However, that's really nice. It's just nice that, if you really wanted to, although, I mean, you're kind of losing the tactical advantage if you're open carrying, but still, I mean, it's kind of nice that Publix gives you that option, which is kind of mind-blowing. But yeah, man, they stand by it. All right, so William Martin, the Washington Post editorial board, quote, "The right answer is to reopen the government with a clean funding bill and then have a debate about ACA subsidies. Democrats openly acknowledge that they refuse to do this because it would mean giving up their leverage." And this is from the Washington Post. It's from the editorial board. It is an opinion piece. Oh no, they're not going to let me read it. Oh, these bastards. Fucking Washington Post. Yeah, man, they're not even letting. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can do this. I don't think that I've tried this with Washington Post before, so let me give this a try. I know I've been able to work around it before by doing the private window option. Is he going to let me? No, it's not going to. Damn it. Oh, wait, hold on. Get free access to the Post comment browser through November 13th. I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, through November 13th. Whatever. So if you happen to be subscribed to the Washington Post, I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out. But, I mean, we got the gist of it. They said it right there. I think we got everything we really needed at the end of the day. All right, moving on to Secretary Sean Duffy. It's time for the left-wing media to start pressing Senator Schumer and Rep. Jeffries on what they're doing to end the shutdown. I haven't seen Rep. Jeffries on the news in the last several days. I wonder if finally maybe his advisor or someone said that, dude, every time you get in front of the cameras, you're slipping all over these banana peels. You probably should stop going on TV. You're not really doing the Democratic Party a whole lot of favors. Anyway, the president is doing everything to make existing dollars go as far as possible, unlike Obama.
Go ask the Democrats that question. Say, what are you going to do to make sure that people get SNAP benefits this Saturday, or they have health care assistance for their Obamacare? What are you going to do? Because we're doing everything we can on our end, but there's not much more we can do because the rules of the road by which we have to play. And so, again, I'm grateful for this team because they care about the American people. I just wonder, do the Democrats care the way we do? And if they do, open it up, sit down, and negotiate. Go ask the Democrats.
Yep. Well, I mean, when he says that it's time for the left-wing media to start pressing them, the left-wing media has actually been pressing against Democrat politicians who go on their show, like Jake Tapper. If you watched my episode from yesterday, I think I even I even posted a clip of that interview on my channel, and you could check that out, of Jake Tapper pushing back against, oh crap, what's her name? Democrat politician lady, with regard to the shutdown by saying it is the Democrats' fault. They can reopen the government if it would take an immediate action. All you got to do is vote yes. And she kept saying, no, it's not us. It's not our fault. And he's like, yeah, it is. So there has been pushback coming from the left-wing media, at least on CNN, and it was either ABC or NBC. There's also a segment, maybe actually from both of them, where they're doing the same thing. They actually are, now relatively gently, they're pushing back on him, but they are pushing back on him to some degree. So I will say that at least. I cannot believe I'm giving CNN any credit. It's unbelievable. It's like, dude, like what a time to be alive. Like 2025 has been just an absolute like bizarre year. All right, American Hotel and Lodging Association. To date, the shutdown has resulted in an estimated $650 million in lost economic impact from hotel stays. AHLA, along with 15 business associations, called for a clean continuing resolution to reopen the government and restore services that impact the hotel industry and so many Americans across the country. And you could read their full letter. So yeah, the American Hotel and Lodging Association. I mean, I'm not familiar with them. I'm assuming that they're a legit organization. This comes from Business Roundtable. BRT joined a broad cross-section of business associations in urging Congress to swiftly pass a clean continuing resolution to reopen the federal government. The full statement and list of organizations. So I'll have a quick look at that. So let's see. All right. So yeah, it's pretty short. So the list of organizations, it's at the bottom. So I'll read it. All right. So today, a broad cross-section of business associations issued the following statement. Quote, government shutdowns impose real escalating costs. While exact figures vary, public estimates of the current funding lapse suggest $10 billion to $15 billion per week in lost output and economic activity. The longer the shutdown persists, the larger and more durable the economic damage becomes, and some of it could never be recovered. Among many other impacts, each day the government remains closed increases the permitting backlog for major infrastructure projects. The nation's air traffic control system and its workforce are also showing signs of stress. We urge Congress to swiftly pass a clean continuing resolution to reopen the federal government. Immediately reopening the government would avert further economic disruption and give Congress and the administration time to negotiate a longer-term funding package and address other pressing issues. And this statement was issued by Airlines for America, American Bankers Association, American Hotel and Lodging Association, Associated General Contractors of America, Association of Equipment Manufacturers, also Business Roundtable, Financial Services Forum, Information Technology Industry Council, National Association of Home Builders, National Association of Manufacturers, National Association of Realtors, National Association of Wholesale Distributors, National Electric Manufacturers Association, National Retail Federation, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and U.S. Travel Association. I bet quite a few of those have probably put donations behind Democrats in the past. I would almost bet on that. Yeah, it's funny how quickly things change when the money starts drying up, especially when Democrats own the shutdown. So we're going to head to House Republicans' rare moment of Democrat honesty. Rep. Josh Harder, Democrat from California, just revealed that he thinks it would be a fool's errand for Democrats to end their government shutdown. Democrats view your suffering as leverage for their party. They don't care about the 42 million Americans who are about to lose access to food assistance. Instead, Democrats are fighting to give free health care to illegal aliens.
Why not?
It's only 10 seconds.
I think the idea that you would give up all of your leverage and then hopefully get some sort of great deal coming down the pike is just a fool's errand.
Why not?
I mean, giving up your leverage, dude, like, are you just suggesting that you should infinitely keep the government shut down forever and ever? Because you're really at a stalemate, and you're on the losing end of that because you're causing millions of people to suffer as a result of it, many of whom vote Democrat. I bet with people who directly suffer financially from this shutdown or by way of food benefits or what have you, I bet by far the lion's share of people are voting Democrat. That would just be my wild hunch. So from Mario Diaz-Balart, 5 ways the Democrat shutdown is hurting Americans. Number 1, 40 million could lose SNAP. Number 2, 1 million service members miss their paychecks. Number 3, 6 million people are losing heat this winter. I'm not sure where he's getting that from. I mean, I'd push back against that unless he's got, a source on that. Number 4, thousands of federal workers unpaid. Number 5, air traffic controllers will miss their first paycheck. So does he have anything in the follow-up? Probably not. Yeah, actually, he looks like he might. Every day the shutdown continues, real Americans suffer. From the BBC. Why from the BBC? 5 ways U.S. government shutdown is hurting and why it's about to get worse. So we've got, all right, so I'll just read the intro here and then maybe go through each section. The U.S. government shutdown has entered the 5th week, and there is no clear end in sight. With Democrats and Republicans deadlocked over passing a spending plan that would reopen federal agencies, millions of Americans are feeling economic pain that could soon grow worse. The fiscal fight means millions of Americans may not receive food aid, thousands of troops could have to work without pay, and millions may go without heat. Here's how the shutdown has affected everyday people. Food assistance, which we're very well aware of, so I could pretty much skip past the food assistance part. Military pay, we're pretty well acquainted with that at this point. So, the Pentagon accepting a $130 million gift, which I believe they said it would take an act of Congress to be able to take that money and put it directly into the military service members' pockets. So I'm not really sure what movement's happening with that. And the White House plans to pay the troops on Halloween by using money from a military housing fund. Also the research and development account at the Pentagon and Defense Procurement Fund, according to Axios. And the administration made payroll by moving $6.5 billion from military research. Okay, so they already used that money to pay them. And 160 families told National Military Family Association that they've been underpaid during the shutdown, some by hundreds and others by thousands. And here's the heat. Around 6 million Americans use a federal assistance initiative called the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP, for help paying utility bills. The government usually sends LIHEAP funds directly to utility companies in mid-November. The temperature is already dropping in northern areas. I mean, it's even dropping. Look, I live in St. Petersburg, Florida, and our high today, at least in my house, was 71 degrees, which pretty chilly for us this time of year. And yeah, so I can only imagine. I'm sure the whole country is much colder than it is here. But our average temperature right now is like 85, 86 degrees. So yeah, it looks like winter's coming early. The temperature is already dropping where Americans heat their homes with propane, electric, and natural gas. Many states bar natural gas and electric companies from cutting off service to people who do not pay their bills, but those rules do not apply to propane or heating oil. Experts say thousands could face deadly conditions unless the government reopens or the government finds another resolution, such as a nationwide moratorium on cutting off heat in the shutdown. Yeah, dude, this is it's gonna start stretching out all over the place. I mean, like the tentacles are just gonna keep clinching all different parts of everyday society. Federal civilian workers, thousands of Americans work for the government as civilian employees, and many will miss a paycheck this week. It's been a slow burn for many. Some civilian employees were able to get a week or two of compensation, while others haven't seen a dollar since last month or the beginning of this month. Among those going without pay beginning this week are congressional aides on Capitol Hill, food banks, food pantries across the U.S. They've seen an increase in the number of federal workers asking for help, which is crazy. If the shutdown continues until the 1st of December, some 4.5 million paychecks will be withheld from federal civilian employees, making for about $21 billion in missed wages, according to the Bipartisan Policy Center. Furloughed employees are typically paid after shutdowns end, and Trump has threatened to withhold pay and is currently trying to fire thousands of workers, which is being challenged in court. Okay, so I was going to say, I was wondering where the movement was on that, because that was, I don't know if I called it an ace up his sleeve, but Trump was talking about unleashing the what was his name? Was it Russ Vought? I think it was Russ Vought. He called him the Grim Reaper of the federal government, or the Darth Vader of the federal government, because he's got like this enormous list of federal employees that I guess he wants to just permanently lay off to try to downsize the government. Air traffic controllers, thousands of air traffic controllers missed their first paychecks this week, which we're pretty well aware of that if you've been listening to my show daily. I've been on top of that pretty much all week. So, all right, so I'll move to the next thing from House Democrats. And then after House Democrats, I've got Senate Republicans. We've got a remark from each of them. SNAP benefits will soon run out. Healthcare premiums will go up. Federal workers will miss their first full paycheck. Well, and whose fault is that? Republicans are using the American people as political pawns in their shutdown. They control the government. They could fix this now. Well, they don't have control over the Senate because they need 60 votes to pass spending. But of course they know that. Senate Republicans, the Schumer shutdown has forced millions of Americans to work without paychecks, lose out on life-saving services, and miss critical benefits. Why won't Senate Democrats reopen the government? Because they care more about political leverage than American families. And this comes from John Kennedy. We're not asking our Democratic colleagues to sell a kidney. We're just asking to reopen the government. I voted to fund the government 13 times now, but Senator Schumer is keeping it shut down until we spend $1.5 trillion more and gut the one big, beautiful bill.
We're not asking our Democratic colleagues to sell a kidney. All we're saying is we don't want anything. We just want to open up government so we can negotiate a budget. And Senator Schumer has said, well, I'll only open it up if you give us $1.5 trillion and gut the one big, beautiful bill like a fish. Well, you know, Stuart, I'm not Bambi's baby brother. I'm not going to vote for that. I don't know any Republicans going to vote for that.
Bambi's baby brother.
The Democrats have a decision to make. We're going to just stay shut down. I hate to see it. People are being hurt. But look, I voted yes to open it up 13 times.
I would say he did his part.
All of us have. I can't make Senator Schumer and my Democratic friends, I can't make them do it. They're looking foolish. I mean, I'm sure Jesus loves them, but to the American people, they're looking like idiots, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's only, like I said, man, I've said it so many times at this point, it's just going to keep getting worse for Democrats. Once it starts affecting people's like direct paychecks, it's already affecting millions of people. All right, Senator James Lankford. Even the Washington Post is urging Democrats to end the shutdown, which I believe was basically a comment on what I already tried to open up, possibly. But keeping the government open should be separated from policy disputes about how to spend taxpayer money. It is wrong that Democrats have held the government hostage for a month in hopes of extending costly Obamacare subsidies. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with the Washington Post. Let's end the political games and open the government. So, yeah, that's got to be the same one. SNAP elections, food stamps. Where was that? Let me just take a look. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's the same article. So, no point in linking it twice. So, this comes from Senate Republicans. High healthcare costs? Thank a Democrat. So, this is from Chuck Schumer. Let's see. From way back in 2009. Good grief. Christmas Day of 2009. Who would have thought that we could finally get a handle on healthcare costs? And then from Dick Durbin, also in 2009, our effort is to make health insurance more affordable for individuals and small businesses. In 2010, Democrats promised Obamacare would make health insurance more affordable. It did the opposite. The Washington Post, quote, the real problem is that the Affordable Care Act was never actually affordable. And that was in October of 2025. And from Paragon Health Institute, premiums for individual market coverage soared. Deductibles also skyrocketed. That was March 3rd of 22. In 2021 and 22, Democrats passed Biden's COVID bonuses to make up for those rising costs. The problem, costs kept rising along with waste and fraud. Quote, for 2025, the Business Group on Health said its annual survey of large employers had found that they expected costs to rise about 8%, the highest jump in more than a decade, which is, quote from the New York Times, expect higher costs for your healthcare benefits next year on November 11th of 24. And the next one, Democrats in 2021 sweetened subsidies for buying insurance on the Obamacare exchanges. Enrollment has since doubled, while taxpayer costs rose by 150%. The Wall Street Journal editorial, the phantom patients of Obamacare from August 17th of this year. And finally, Democrats' healthcare solutions have utterly failed Americans and led to higher premiums. Democrats admit the system is not working. For Chuck Schumer, the healthcare crisis is so deep and so real. Amy Klobuchar, people are literally standing on a healthcare cliff right now. And Bernie Sanders, we have a broken healthcare system. Nobody can afford healthcare. Well, it's because of Obamacare. And it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I mean, most of us, we lived through all of that. And we definitely remember quite clearly. All right, from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, President Trump has been laser focused since the day he came into office on rare earths. He recognized this sector as a strategic vulnerability for the United States China controls about 70% of mining for rare earths and 90% of refining. The Trump administration is determined to fix this by taking control of our supply chains as part of his America First agenda. So obviously moving past the shutdown at this point.
The president has
hear
been
from
laser
the Treasury
focused
Secretary.
since the day he came in office in terms of rare earths. He issued an executive order right out of the blocks. He recognized that this is a strategic vulnerability for the U.S. The Chinese control about 70% of the mining, but more importantly, they control about 90% of the processing and refining. So since January, President Trump, this administration have been working to stand up facilities where we can refine and process rare earths. I think it is something that we inherited. This was a mess that's 20 years in the making, and President Trump is determined to solve this because we have to take control of our supply chains. And we're going to be taking control of our supply chains in rare earths, in semiconductors, in medicines, in steel, in shipbuilding. Part of the America First agenda that President Trump is pushing is for us to be able to control our own destiny and not have any choke points in our supply chains like he inherited.
That's extremely important. And as long as Republicans remain in control, or if they retain the House, the Senate, and the presidency, then I don't think we'll have a whole lot to worry about on that front. But if Democrats take back over, you can only imagine what they're going to do with everything Trump built. All right, from Senate Republicans, new today, the Senate passed Dan Sullivan's Alaska's legislation to overturn a Biden-era lockup of the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. So this is the article that I was waiting for from earlier when we were talking about China. Dan Sullivan will always stand up for energy security and job creation across Alaska. Washington Examiner, I think they pay well, don't they? I think they do. Damn it. Senate votes to undo Biden-era production curves in Alaska's National Petroleum Reserve. So looks like we've got a video on it if they cut me off, which, maybe they're not. I don't know. We'll see. The Senate voted on Thursday to walk back environmental protections in Alaska's National Petroleum Reserve that were imposed by the Biden administration in Republicans' latest effort to expand oil and gas drilling in the state. In a 52-45 vote, the Senate voted in favor of nullifying the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska integrated activity plan record of decision issued by the Bureau of Land Management under former President Joe Biden. This management plan, finalized in 2022, blocked millions of acres from being available to fossil fuel development, which had been opened during President Donald Trump's first term. It specifically allowed around 11.8 million acres of the NPRA to be open for oil and gas leasing. Subsequently, the region's remaining 48% of acreage, both onshore and offshore, 11 million acres, was closed. And I remember when this happened, when Biden closed all that off, and a lot of the gas companies, they made a note that if the next incoming president reopens it, a lot of them had stated that they're not interested in speculating this area because what's the point when they want to build an infrastructure that their company has to pay for to set up oil speculating and drilling and everything that comes along with it, if it's just going to get shut down every 4 years or every 8 years. And they're saying that there's too much political instability to really reasonably invest enough money to develop and drill for oil here. But maybe that might be changing. I don't know. We'll see. But major drilling activity in Alaska's North Slope, Willow and Pika, in Prudhoe Bay and Point Thompson, and then Kaktovik are areas of, looks like, the major drilling activity. So there you go. So Senator Dan Sullivan, who sponsored the Senate resolution of disapproval, described the restrictions on drilling in the Indiana-sized area as the last frontier lockup, claiming it has threatened U.S. energy independence and jeopardized jobs in the state. Quote, when you're producing energy from America, from Alaska, you're strengthening the country, strengthening good jobs, good union jobs. The other thing you're doing is you're helping people live longer, Sullivan said in remarks on the Senate floor on Wednesday. Sullivan introduced the resolution in September through the Congressional Review Act, a legislative process that allows the majority to bypass a filibuster and vote in a simple majority to undo a regulation. Republicans have used the CRA throughout the year to reverse and undo numerous Biden administration energy, climate, and environmental regulations. The Biden plan did not completely remake the guidelines for managing the NPRA. Instead, it reversed changes made during Trump's first term. Broadly, the 2022 management plan reinstates protections and guidance first issued under the Obama administration in 2013. The first Trump administration sought to expand oil and gas drilling in the NPRA, opening up 82% of the reserve for development. In his second term, Trump has sought to take those efforts a step further, with the Interior Department spearheading plans to open up nearly the entire reserve for oil and gas exploration. Last week, the Bureau of Land Management published a call for nominations and comments on what areas in the NPRA should be made available in the first oil and gas lease sale expected this coming winter. It will mark the first lease sale in the region since 2019 and is directed to take place under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act signed in July. If the resolution to nullify the 2022 management plan passes in the House and is signed by Trump, it will make it increasingly easy for the administration to hold frequent lease sales. As Republicans have moved to reverse the plan through the CRA, it would also block future Democratic administrations from reissuing similar environmental protections in substantially the same form. Okay, well, that would be a good thing. A similar resolution was introduced in the House by Rep. Nick Begich last month though there has been little movement for the lower chamber's version. NPRA, a roughly 23 million acre area in Alaska's North Slope borough, was first set aside by President Warren Harding in 1923 as an emergency oil supply for the U.S. Navy. Jurisdiction of the land was transferred to the Interior Department in the 70s, opening it up to oil and gas leasing. While the NPRA has been open to oil and gas development for decades, Republicans have repeatedly criticized that only around 1.6 million acres have been leased in the region. And it looks like that's all we got for that article. So definitely good news if it goes all the way. So we'll see. From the office of the First Lady, tonight is Halloween at the White House. Here's a look back at some of our favorite Halloween moments with the First Lady of the United States and President Trump during the first term. So this is during the first term of President Trump's presidency. Yep, kids at the costumes. They got the fog machine rolling. And, yep, handing out candy. And I actually have a video of them handing out candy tonight. President Trump, former McDonald's worker himself, greets new drive-through employees at the White House. So I thought this was pretty clever. This, I don't know if you call it a costume or not. It looks more like a miniature float, or like a, I don't know, like a soapbox car kind of deal. But yep, handing out candy. All right, well, there you go. Handing out candy for Halloween tonight. And from Winsome Earl Sears, Abigail, you're a mom of 3. How do you continue to endorse Jay Jones, a man who fantasized about murdering 2 boys and their dad? Have you nothing to say? This is interesting.
Would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail.
Wow, yikes.
What if he said it about
Awkward
your
silence.
your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running
Oh
for
man,
the
that's got it. That looks so
Ms.
bad.
Sears. I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that? Are you not going to address it? Really, you can't go any further. You're a governor. You're supposed to stand up for all the people. Are you saying political murder is all right? Have some political courage. What you have done is you are taking political calculations about your future as governor. Well, as governor, you have to make hard choices, and that means telling Jay Jones to leave the race.
Absolutely. Wow, man. Oh, that was a cringe fest coming from, what's her name? the governor, or is she the governor? I don't know if she's the current governor or not. I don't know. I'm not from Virginia. I honestly don't know. But yeah, I know Jay Jones. He's the guy who's trying to run for attorney general in Virginia, who's a Democrat, of course. And He sent some extremely spicy and abhorrent text messages to a friend of his saying that he fantasizes or dreams about his political candidate getting murdered in front of his children, which is absolutely insane, which I've read it on this show a couple of times. That was probably about a month ago at this point. It happened a little while ago. But I mean, obviously there's still, it's still a topic of conversation because, we're not quite to election day yet. So of course they're going to keep turning up the heat because none of the Democrats in Virginia have called on him to drop out. They've endorsed him before he sent out those text messages, and none of them, not a single Democrat in Virginia, has pulled their endorsement. All right, from Matt Van Swol, this has completely broken me. A third billboard honoring Charlie Kirk has been horrifyingly vandalized right here in Asheville, North Carolina. I didn't believe it when it happened to the first two, and I didn't want to believe it this time either. I don't know where we go from here. So there's the image of Charlie Kirk's billboard being vandalized. So yeah, it is. It's absolutely abhorrent. It's terrible. You say vandalized, I saw objectively improved. Yeah, dude, these people are monsters. Absolutely monsters. But we do have this. Okay, so by the way, this was from October 29th, so that would have been yesterday at 2:50 p.m. as of this recording. So we do have this, though, from 10 hours ago from Eric Daugherty. Update, a left-wing woman has fucked around and found out, being arrested and criminally charged for vandalizing a Charlie Kirk memorial. She has officially been charged with vandalism and criminal damage to property. And I'm pretty sure the police in this body camera, they referenced the billboard. So Megan, just in case you were wondering.
Yes. You're the only driver of that vehicle? Nobody else ever drives it?
Not that I know of.
Okay. You want to come out and talk to us for a couple minutes?
What's up?
All right. So you are Megan Buchiger? Buhager? Okay. So
Booger.
we have your vehicle on
captions.
Multiple cameras, a lot of surveillance footage. So why do you think we're here?
Now it's time to just be honest.
I mean, we've got great surveillance footage. We wouldn't be sitting here at your house, would we?
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier just to be honest, and then we just move on with it and we go from there.
Alright. I know, that was stupid of me. Yeah.
Yeah, but she doesn't care.
Because the thing they put up, I think it was stupid, and I don't.
But the thing is, they put up RIP for everybody. You know, it's like a rented board, so people can.
Yeah, I see a rented board.
Mothers, fathers, or anybody else.
Billboard, I'm assuming.
Just another person. Just another person that you disagree with.
Charlie, what? You didn't like him, or?
No. All the shit that he was saying? No.
So, Tire Doc, though, I mean, they're just a business.
There's a lot of, like, racist shit going on. Like, somebody need to say somebody. That's what I think. Somebody need to say something.
Okay. So you spray paint just because it's what you had? Okay. All right. Go place your hands behind your back. You are under arrest for criminal trespass.
Real world has real world consequences. When you see all these things online,
I'm gonna call for transport. Can we store for a minute in your car, maybe? Thanks.
You don't need to be doing this. There's things that I don't agree with people. Like, I don't agree with what you did.
I'm gonna pat you down. You still got a phone here? Is that it? Okay.
I don't agree
Anything
with
else?
what you did, but I'm not going to do anything
All
in
right.
the house.
Come on with us.
Have you sit in my car?
Thank you. We're gonna go right over to this patrol car over here. 618 radio. Drive Smellville. Show me 1095.
You know by chance have any water?
Actually I don't. We will get you some here in a few minutes though. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take that.
Oh.
I mean, if you want to say anything else, sir, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, I was just telling her what happened, but that's whatever.
All right, she'll be transported to the Walton County Sheriff's Department for booking.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Bye. Thanks.
The woman was charged with vandalism, criminal damage to property in the second degree. What do y'all think about this one? Was the charge fair or over the top? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, what do you think?
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life police footage and crazy stories like this one.
Yep, absolutely ridiculous. Just monstrous. Just absolutely ridiculous. FAFO. I mean, unless they just let her out after a few hours, which I don't think would surprise anybody. Okay, so moving on to House Foreign Affairs Committee Majority. Gustavo Petro is a drug dealer and a thug. President Trump will never stop fighting for the American people. Petro has no chance of getting rid of him, and him as in President Trump.
Your mission is not to change Trump. Your mission is to seek the best possible negotiation for the millions of Colombians who depend on those jobs and that economy. Humanity has a first off-ramp, and it is to change Trump in various ways. The easiest way may be through Trump himself. The easiest. If not, get rid of Trump.
Congressman, your reaction
Okay.
to that response?
I could break down a lot of different things about that. I'm going to choose to just say one thing about it. You're not going to change President Trump, and I thank God for that. Here's what you're not going to change about him. He is not a globalist. He is all American, protecting the homeland, the people of the United States of America in every action that he undertakes, whether it's going into our blue cities that are overrun by crime, that's protecting the homeland. Whether it's getting rid of illegal immigrants in the United States of America, that's protecting the homeland. Whether it's making sure that these drugs coming out of, whether it's Venezuela or Colombia or anywhere else across the Gulf of America, don't reach our shores, that's protecting the homeland. And whether it's him traveling over to South Korea to meet with Xi Jinping or others to make sure that China isn't able to cut off America's supply chain in some kind of way, that's protecting the homeland. Every action by President Trump is him protecting the people of the United States of America, and he will never waver in that.
100%. Sounds like Colombia is going to FAFO as well. HHS, Dr. Macri, FDA. It's important to have research and development for pharmaceutical companies, but other wealthy countries could or should be paying their fair share. They were laughing at us as they were negotiating great prices. Nothing happened until now with President Trump.
Other countries were asking pharmaceutical companies for better prices. They wanted the lowest prices in the United States. We were not doing that. Other countries were laughing at us. We were financing the R&D for the world. It's important to have research and development for pharmaceutical companies.
That's why it's so appalling.
But other wealthy countries should be paying their fair share. And so they were laughing at us as they were negotiating great prices. And for 30 years, people talked about it in the United States, and nothing happened until now with President Trump.
Yeah, and I'm sure such an absurd amount of money, American money, USD, was dumped into R&D for pharmaceuticals, and it's such a slap in the face that they're charging us 3 to 5 times more money for pharmaceutical drugs than they charge any other country out there. First world countries. It's ridiculous. GOP, not one Virginia Democrat has rescinded their endorsement of Jay Jones after he fantasized about killing his opponent and kids. Man, I should have put that up there with the other one. Anyway, VA Democrats have shown you who they really are. Vote for Win with Winsome and John Reed for Virginia and Jason Miyares, Virginia. Vote for them if you're in Virginia. Definitely.
Outrage over violent text messages from Jay Jones, the Democratic candidate for Virginia Attorney General.
It's so egregious. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was about to say, it's so egregious, we can't even show it on camera. So they say nice things about everyone, LOL. If those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves. He's talking about his political Republican opponents. Send them out awash in something. And then he says, or the person that he's texting with says Jay Jones. And then he says 3 people, I think 2 bullets. And then he says Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. And he said like his opponent will get both bullets or something like that. But let's see if they actually have it. Yeah, here it is. So Jay Jones, 3 people, 2 bullets, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head, and Gilbert is his political rival. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. And then they reply saying, Jay, please stop. And, of course, this went absolutely crazy viral. And then, let's see, and you dug in that you meant it. So the blue is the person replying to him. I honestly am questioning a lot today. And he says, I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. This dude is fucking piece of shit, man.
I didn't hear an answer there. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones? And were you aware of these text messages before they released?
How are Virginia Democrats responding?
Oh, I would have loved to hear her answer to that.
In fact, it appears that it was the...
For you yourself, do you
come on, man, they're chopping it all up.
Jay Jones? 15 seconds, yes or no?
No.
We are all running our individual races.
No Democratic officials have called for him to step down.
Assuming that wasn't chopped up.
We just want to clarify, what you're saying is that as of now, you still endorse Jay Jones as Attorney General.
I'm saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual decision.
Virginia Democrats chose violence. Virginia voters need leaders they can trust. Vote Republican on Tuesday.
All right, it's a political ad. I'm not crazy about playing political ads. I mean, if I had known that, I probably would have just skipped past that one, but that's okay. It's already too late. Department of State, the United States is on the ground in the Caribbean to deliver life-saving supplies to those affected by Hurricane Melissa. To learn more about resources for Americans needing assistance and how you can help, from state.gov. Responding to Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica, Bahamas, Cuba, Bermuda, Haiti, and Turks and Caicos Islands. So we're helping out Cuba too. Interesting. Maybe it's just Gitmo. Maybe just Guantanamo Bay. I should know this, but is the Guantanamo Bay, is it on the eastern side of the island or is it on the western side of the island? Because if it's on the eastern side, then it probably was battered by the hurricane. On October 28th, Hurricane Melissa, a catastrophic Category 5 storm, made landfall over New Hope, Jamaica, with wind speeds of 185 miles an hour. The storm caused widespread damage, hospital evacuations, and flooding across the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, where fatalities were reported. President Trump authorized an immediate U.S. response, directing the Department of State to mobilize support for affected communities. Within hours, Secretary Rubio deployed a regional disaster assistance response team, including urban search and rescue teams, to assess needs and provide search and recovery assistance. The State Department is collaborating with UN agencies, NGOs, and host governments to deliver food, water, medical supplies, hygiene kits, temporary shelter, and search and rescue support. And monetary contributions, the most effective public response to disasters. Financial donations to established relief agencies are the most efficient way to support disaster response efforts. I mean, yeah, maybe for the most part, although I am of the understanding that if you donate to many, if not most nonprofits, that 10% or less of your donation actually goes to the cause. The other 90% goes to overhead and six-figure salaries of people working in them, things like that. But there are a handful. I believe Red Cross is one that's like a legit one that like the lion's share of your donation actually goes to the cause. Don't directly quote me on that because I might be wrong, but I believe the Red Cross is one of the good legit ones. So anyway, when making donations, cash is best. Cash contributions allow relief organizations to purchase urgently needed supplies locally, avoiding delays and high transportation costs. I mean, yeah, they raise a point. Local purchases also support economies, ensure culturally appropriate goods, and expedite delivery. In contrast, unsolicited donations of household items often clog supply chains, divert resources, and increase logistical costs. Relief organizations assess needs on the ground and coordinate with governments and local groups to ensure accurate, evolving responses. When material donations are needed, agencies will issue specific appeals detailing items, collection timelines, and transportation instructions. Let's see. Okay, so this is about the government of Jamaica. They've launched a dedicated platform to mobilize support, channel relief, and coordinate recovery efforts in the wake of times of crisis and disaster. Individuals seeking to support disaster-affected people in Jamaica should visit, and I'll link that in the description, supportjamaica.gov.jm. Volunteer opportunities and disaster relief, so there's info on that. Also, scam alerts following Hurricane Melissa, so you got to be watching out for that. AI-generated scams, crowdfunding, fake charities, U.S. citizens in need of assistance. If you happen to be there, I mean, I would doubt that you're probably listening to this, but these are the resources that you can use to reach out if you're in Jamaica, Haiti, the DR, Cuba, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Bermuda. And U.S. Embassy staff in those countries are working tirelessly to provide consular assistance to U.S. citizens and their families. So I'll have that linked below from state.gov. And from U.S. Southern Command, U.S. Marines with the 22nd MEU conduct live fire training on the flight deck of USS Iwo Jima LHD-7 in the Caribbean Sea. U.S. military forces are deployed to the Caribbean in support of the Southcom mission, and the Department of War directed operations and the president's priorities to disrupt ... drug trafficking and protect the homeland. U.S. Navy photo by Mass Communications Specialist Seaman Andrew Eggert. Yeah, check that out, man. They're on the flight deck. That's crazy. That'd be a lot of fun, man. That'd be cool. Just firing rounds off on the flight deck of the USS Iwo Jima. That'd be cool. All right, U.S. Navy, sound on, and I'll play with sound, even though, well, it's 8 seconds. Actually, no, this is a missile taking off, so maybe there's not copyrighted music. They tend to throw copyrighted stuff in there and kind of throw me for a loop. But the USS McFall DDG-74 fires an SM-2 during Task Force Exercise TFEX 26-2 in the Atlantic Ocean, sharpening readiness for sustained combat operations. Let's take a look at this. Whoa. Well, there went about $10 million. That was cool. What is that, an alarm that they're sounding off? Dude, I can only imagine how loud that would have to be. I mean, obviously they got to clear like the whole deck. They got to clear everything before they fire one of those off. All right, U.S. Department of Labor. Young Americans have had the American dream stolen from them as jobs have been replaced by foreign workers due to rampant abuse of the H-1B visa. Under the president and Secretary Lori Chavez de Raymer, who is the Secretary of Labor, under their leadership, are holding companies accountable for their abuse and recapturing the American dream for the American people.
For generations, we've told Americans that if they work hard enough, they can achieve the American dream.
Amen.
But many young Americans have had this dream stolen from them.
Bastard.
Their jobs were replaced by foreign workers as politicians and bureaucrats.
All right, let's go back and look at that for a sec. Oh, damn it, just missed it. Okay, so countries with most H-1B visa approval, 72% from India. This absolutely insane number. Probably because a lot of people in India, they speak English, so they can get along better than other non-English speaking countries. At least that's my assumption. Philippines, 1%. China's 12%, which is ridiculous because isn't China like our #1 adversary, especially economically? Plus, not to mention, it isn't like virtually every Chinese that comes over here, they've had like the behind closed doors discussion with the CCP to gather whatever they can and report whatever they can. I don't know. Maybe that's conspiratorial, but I don't think it is. So Canada and other countries, 14%.
Workers as politicians and bureaucrats allowed companies to abuse the H-1B visa. But now, President Trump is delivering a new opportunity for young Americans. Through Project Firewall, we're taking action to hold companies accountable for H-1B abuse and ensure they prioritize Americans in the hiring process, recapturing the American dream for the American people.
Yeah, man, let's hope so. Let's hope that works out. No, I know like with, I believe with this program, H-1B visas, it's going to cost like $1 million or something like that for an H-1B visa holder to come over to the U.S. Maybe it's 100,000. It might be 100,000. And then perhaps the company, because a company can sponsor somebody to come over, but it's going to cost the company at least $1 million or $2 million, something like that. All right. And I think that is all I've got. So I am going to jump straight over to, where is that? Okay, here we go. To EBT of TikTok, dude. I want to check out some of these videos. So this was pinned back on October 28th. Woman says it's time to flip some fucking tables when SNAP benefits go away. So this one being pinned, it's got to be a hell of a video. Let's check this out.
Next week, when millions of people are going to have to resort to possibly stealing in order to feed themselves and their families, and the government complains, because they will complain about the crime rate going up, even though they're the ones who fucking did it.
It is unbelievable that somebody this morbidly obese is freaking out about not getting food benefits. It's hilarious that the government is dumping billions of dollars worth of taxpayer money to feed people who are morbidly obese. It's almost as if the food assistance program is kind of flawed because it's turning people into whales, into land whales.
Make sure you point your anger at the system and the people at the top, because they're
oh my God, how dare you lose weight? Oh my God, the humanity.
And poor people and starving children. The poor people just want to eat. They just want to survive like the rest of us. They just want to keep
trust me,
living like
y'all are eating.
So when you see
a lot.
them stealing, because you
bunch
will,
of name brand shit too.
because they're going to have to, make sure your anger isn't directed at the individual. This goes so much deeper. It's time to flip some fucking tables.
Yeah, well, direct your anger at the Democrats, lady. And skip a few meals, man. What's the one that most people skip in order to try to lose weight? Is it breakfast? I can't remember if it's breakfast or dinner. I don't know, dude. Skip a meal. Only eat once a day. You can survive eating only once a day. You can get along with it. You can lose your weight. You know, like how like, you know, the modern women are like, I won't date a man who's under 6 feet tall. Well, you know, men can't control their height, but you can control your weight. You can certainly do that. So EBT of TikTok, unemployed woman brags that she's just going to complain until EBT comes back. A job ain't gonna do it. Well, that's really what you got to do. You got to get a fucking job, lady.
Go work a job. Go get a job. Stop freeloading.
Go sell
Stop
your car.
This, stop that. No, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop.
Okay, but what if you lose your food stamp benefits? What if you go to the store and it reads $0.00? What are you going to do then? I mean, do you have a credit card? I mean, it's kind of hard to get a credit card if you're not employed. So literally, what are you going to do if you have no food benefits? You're just going to complain until you starve to death?
Trust me. By December, my benefits will be back on. Best believe that. Until
Or
then,
what?
You guys are gonna
Tell
hear
us or
me
what?
crying and talking my shit and complaining. A job ain't gonna do it. A motherfucking job ain't gonna do it.
Oh, but it
Go
kind of
work a
can.
job.
They just don't want to work. It's just one of those individuals that AOC talked about with her Green New Deal, the $90 trillion Green New Deal that's going to be, in part, used for people to get universal basic income for people who are, quote-unquote, unwilling to work, which obviously backfired.
Like, niggas been knew how to steal. Like, please, niggas, I'll go steal a whole turkey, bitch, and a ham. Like, what up? I don't know what the fuck wrong with Trump, but I don't know if he want war or not. But niggas is ready. Yo, the internet is not letting up. Y'all got me crying. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, it is like, damn, like, dang. Like, niggas don't give a fuck, right? But at the end of the day, it's like...
How much do piercings cost, by the way?
I'm mad, but I got food for me. I got food for days. If you know me, you already know how I give it up. Freezer go crazy. But at the end of the day, shit, I go buy it or I go steal it. It ain't nothing. I steal all that shit. Shit, anyway. Y'all ready for the looting? The fuck is
Blue
going on?
Cities,
I'm
you probably
into it
can.
This time. I ain't missing this time. Shit, I'm outside.
All right. Well, you heard it from her. It might be looting. It might be flipping tables and looting and ransacking stores and everything. Look, Portland tried that. They fucked around and they found out because now they don't have a single super Walmart left in the entire city of Portland because they went in there and stole shit too much. So Walmart decided to pull every single store out of Portland, Oregon. Not a single Walmart there anymore. They used to have like 8 or 9 of them. All right, so we got one. Man suggests there will be a large-scale riots if law enforcement tries to stop looters on November 1st. This is about 2 hours ago. Oh, this is a long one, though.
Out there that is getting a heads up on the upcoming 2 days of November 1st because people not gonna get their food.
Remember the 1st of November.
I know y'all commanders
minus the 5th of November.
To, try to patrol in the store parking lots of the grocery stores to get these people some security at least. But my thing.
Well, no, somebody that I heard actually made a good point. They're like Walmart's gonna have the doors wide open. And you're gonna see like a whole bunch of people flooding into the store all at once to go loot the store. And as soon as the last one runs in and there's like 300 people in there like grabbing shit, they're gonna simply just lock the fucking doors. That's all. They're just gonna lock their asses inside the fucking building.
That your commanders are setting y'all up for failure
until the police show up and arrest them one by one.
I'm just a regular civilian American, and what I can tell you guys that your commanders are setting you up for failure. They will have you guys, probably at least 4 of y'all, 2 of y'all, maybe 1 of y'all, in the parking lot of a grocery store that could potentially get looted. But what they're setting you up for failure is you're gonna have over 500, 800, possibly 1,000 people bum rushing that grocery store. What?
Okay, so my question with that, okay, they loot the grocery store and it's empty. Okay, let's give it to them. Then what? What happens then? The grocery store is completely empty of food, and the grocery store is probably going to close in a minimum semi-permanently because, like, why the fuck would you reopen a store that was just looted? Because they're just going to do the same thing again. So where are y'all going to get your food after that store is completely empty and they don't reopen the store? Where are you going to get your food from? And then that's probably when they're going to start threatening, well, we're just going to go up into rich white people neighborhoods and start just kicking doors in up there, which that's really glad that I live in a red state, at least me personally. Hopefully y'all live in one too, or at least live in a place where you can, I don't know, exercise, what is it, like castle doctrine, even though that tends to fall through in places like in Missouri or, other states like that. But I don't know, man. Just makes you wonder.
It's the two of y'all officers gonna do when you got 1,800, 500 people bomb rushing in the grocery store that you was told to patrol and protect. See, it don't make no fucking sense. But I'm gonna give you guys the benefit of doubt. Y'all gonna call for assistance, the riot team, SWAT teams, or whatever you got. You gonna call everybody. And guess what? The more people you call, the more people that's gonna loot. That means it's gonna be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
Did there's not? Oh shit. I went back. I'll try to find where he left off. But dude, if 3,000 people show up to a store, you really think they got enough food for 3? Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I mean, maybe there's a lot more food in a grocery store than I'm giving credit. Yeah, but like within the first 200 people, there's not going to really be any food that anybody's really going to want to take. You know, there's going to be a lot of food they're going to leave behind that they're like, I don't want that shit. Like, where's the fucking Doritos and the Oreos and the freaking ice cream sandwiches and shit? Like, once they loot all the junk food, nobody's really going to want to take anything. I mean, like, they might just grab shit just for the sake of grabbing shit. But, I mean, once the store is empty, it's empty. I mean, you could go back and loot an empty store all you want. You just end up looking stupid.
It's not gonna
And
work.
you won't have a local grocery
Right now,
store
in
anymore.
fact, these people may get smarter and bring their own tear gas and pepper ball. Just saying.
All right, whatever. I gave him 2.5 minutes. Let's move on to the next one. Most of them are a lot shorter than that. This one's only 6 seconds. Woman says, if you are so weird if you think that people should be required to take drug tests for EBT. That's a genius idea. I fucking love that. Yeah, so you're so broke that you can't afford literal food, but you're not broke enough to be able to afford a fucking drug habit. I think that's a fantastic idea. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody argue that one before. All right, what is it? Just music? You should really only be able to get food stamps with a clean drug test. I'm so sorry. I think children of addicts should still have access to food. I'm so radical, I know. The children of drug addicts. Well, lady, I mean, there's something called DHS, or at least where I live at. I think they're called different acronyms elsewhere, but or a DCF, Department of Children and Families. That's when they come in. You know, if you're a drug addict parent, you shouldn't be taking care of children, not even your own children, if you're hooked on, you know, like meth or crack or whatever. EBT of TikTok, this man is predicting a real life purge once EBT benefits stop dispersing. How long is this?
Keep making jokes about
it's not too crazy long.
They food stamps and they snap took. Yeah, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny to people playing snatchy in them stores. Cause I'm telling you, y'all ain't gonna leave nobody no choice but to play snatchy in them stores. And y'all did it right before Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, even grandma.
Yeah, Democrats did it right before Thanksgiving.
Y'all leaving them no choice.
They're fucking ruthless, man.
Yep. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the world where people work jobs. But bruh, what about people's 80-year-old grandma? That's what they supposed to do. What about kids, innocent kids that can't have a job, but y'all took the stamps from their parents? I ain't thinking about it, but it's cool though, because it's gonna be, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a real live purge or grocery purge. Y'all thought shit was going bad in 2020? Oh yeah,
grab your groceries while you can.
I bet you. Walmart.
Look, man, listen to his words. Heed his words. If you live in a major city, and if you're worried that looting could happen potentially at a grocery store you shop at, and if you're not on food stamps, if you actually buy your own shit, you might want to buy your shit like tomorrow. Like Halloween, you might want to stock up on whatever you need to stock up on in case they do end up looting out all your grocery stores.
Tighten up on security. Don't have Grandma Deborah at the front with her little Bible and her little bingo card. They running her over. You bet.
Also, there's something that they're probably not going to bring up. If this thing really does persist for weeks or months, there's also going to be the possibility that you're going into a grocery store that's not being looted or anything, but you're walking out, you're heading to your car, and somebody just snatches your fucking bags and they just take off running. I mean, that's probably going to be a problem that you'll start seeing in major cities too. People just walking out to the car and they'll just, gank your groceries and just take off running.
And I had Grandpa Henry on the corner either, boy. He all.
That's why it's good to shop in Publix here in Florida. You can arm up.
Because
you strap up.
Thanksgiving coming, grandmas how they be about Thanksgiving. They not missing that dressing. They ain't missing them chitlins.
Plus, we're a stand your ground steak too.
Yeah, people definitely putting hams in their ass. Yeah, people definitely are going to be getting turkeys and they're going in the pants. I'm telling you, it's finna get bad.
Turkeys and pants.
Yeah. And it's sad because people at Walmart ain't do nothing. People at Kroger's ain't do nothing.
Well, dude, go out into the fucking woods with a rifle and go hunt a fucking turkey.
Bro,
just go do it the old-fashioned way.
The mint shutdown. They not thinking about the outcome. The worst thing you could do is take somebody's stamps that depends on they stamps. It is crazy.
Yeah,
y'all
well,
really
most
think
of them
it's about
probably
to be
don't
peaches and
depend
cream in
that
November,
much on
don't
them.
y'all? September.
A lot of them are
Call it
selling
that.
their
It ain't
fucking
November.
stamps.
Next month, September. It's about to get bad.
September, huh? Okay. All right. Woman says the downfall of society is inevitable with food stamps benefits set to be cut. Things aren't going to get better. Well, yeah, they tend to get worse before they get better.
All right, well, I guess I be the one to say it, okay? Things aren't going to get better, okay? And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm talking about in regard to what's going on in the world. Things aren't going to get better. It's actually going to get worse, okay?
Yeah, she's right.
So for those who are looking for life
on basically
to be
every
like
front,
how
really.
It used to be, normal,
unless you're in the top 1%.
We are not going back to normal, okay? Get that out of y'all heads, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Things are getting much worse in many different ways. Like what? You have to make like $110,000 to afford the average house in America today? It's fucking insane. Woman explains how she's forced to buy generic brand food since EBT is getting cut. That is hilarious. See, and I actually made that point earlier this week that if they do end up cutting off food benefits to 42 million people, you're probably going to see the price of name brand foods go down because people aren't going to be buying, they're not going to be buying name brand food. They're going to be resorting to generic food. So, which should trigger a downfall in the price of things like Doritos and shit like that. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really buy that shit. I shop Aldi, so I don't really care.
Let me tell you something, right? So yesterday I went shopping and we go to Walmart and my kids, they go to the cereal
Walmart,
aisle,
that's
right?
too fancy for me. Fucking
like,
Walmart.
Mom, I want this cereal. I want this cereal. And you know all the cereals to the right or to my right, whatever. The ones in the boxes, okay?
No, the ones in the bags, dude. The big bags.
I said, nope. I pushed my kids all the way to the front. Look to the left, and the
No, you don't need Fruity Pebbles. You need Fruity Rocks.
Yeah, the bag cereal, the old ones from back in the day. They said they don't want
Yeah,
that.
the big
But
bag.
guess
I knew
what?
exactly what she's talking about.
We are in a government shutdown. Bag cereal it is.
Bag cereal.
Bag
Big bags.
freaking
Like 2 pounds of cereal.
Okay. The oatmeal. My kids love oatmeal. But I get the ones with the little flavor and stuff.
Yep, me too.
We getting the oats that comes in those
the big can.
huge containers with the little
I get that too.
old man on it. And we're going to make our own flavor. Because there's no way. It's affecting everybody.
Let's use a few drops of vanilla, throw in some raisins, some brown sugar.
Even the chips. The chips. Oh,
Good
mommy, you're gonna get some Doritos and stuff like that. We're getting UTZ. We're getting the Utz.
Yeah, the Utz. Hey, even that's kind of a name brand though.
They're like, Mommy, what is this? It's chips. Just the cheap ones we never get. But guess what? We gonna get it. Yep. We going back to this.
Notice the smoke alarm beep in the background. Yeah, I that screams a single woman. The smoke alarm beep. I'm vibing with her though. That's hilarious. I mean, she pointed out a lot of shit that I already do, so I'm not going to be affected. I mean, I'm not on food stamps either, but anyway. So next one, man says that people who lose EBT benefits could hunt them in their pockets and protest by not participating in holidays like Christmas. Yeah, he's 100% right. I mean, like people who are not getting food stamps, but they're able to eke out a little bit of money here and there. It's just going to go to food. And that's really problematic. And it makes you feel really bad for the kids, man. I mean, it really does.
Dead ass in light of our government shutting down and taking SNAP benefits and people not being able to eat and things of that sort. Listen, people aren't mad enough. You have to fight back against the system. And the truth is,
depending on the government.
Forget Halloween, forget Christmas, forget Black Friday, forget
fuck
Valentine's
Black Friday.
Day,
And Cyber
all
Monday.
These holidays that you feel like, oh my God, if I don't spend money, I'm going to miss out. Fuck it. You don't need it. You can get it anytime. You
We
do
got
not
so much
have
consumer
to do those
bullshit
things
anyway.
on a specific day. Holidays were literally placed there throughout the
Christmas is about Jesus anyway.
The year, so the
not about
country
presents.
continues to make money. Fight against the system. Let them know so that you can be heard. You don't have to literally speak.
I'm not sure if we're on the same wavelength, though.
You can be heard through your actions. You don't eat turkey and all that stuff for Thanksgiving. We don't have that shit.
Not really.
How many years? That shit get tired. I eat one plate and maybe take one to-go plate, and then I'm like, I'm done with this. What's next? What time McDonald's open? Like, be for real. You don't have to get all of these things, or I need the new this, or I need the new that. No, you don't. It's a consumerist mindset. You have to
he is
wake
100%
up
right, man.
and fight that. You don't need that. Think about it.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Could not agree more with most of what he said. I mean, there was one year for Thanksgiving that I got deli meat turkey and just made a sandwich. That's all I did. All right. So man says he will protect looters who are doing what they have to.
Remember, everybody, if you see somebody out there taking food, no, you didn't. If you see some kid pocketing something, no, you didn't. If you see some mom or dad out there doing what they gotta do so their kids can eat, you ain't seen nothing. Just keep it moving. They may not protect us, but we gonna protect us. Stay safe out there.
Okay,
Remember,
well, I mean,
everybody,
he kind of just took the position of he's just going to mind his own business, which, I mean, I'd probably do that too, to be honest. Man says that people need to decolonize violence like looting and robbing. Yeah, this ought to be rich.
You need to start seeing lack of access to resource as a type of violence. Intentionally cutting off access to food for 40 million Americans is violence,
dude,
and people will die.
Almost all of these people don't know what hunger really is.
Like groceries and
go visit South Sudan.
And I want you to
get a real taste of what hunger's like.
That I would tell anyone else. If it's a chain, it's free reign. When they use terms like subsidies to give companies billions of dollars in taxes, but intentionally use the word welfare for humans that actually need it, that is violence. Economics that treat people as externalities that can be lost or gained instead of human beings is violence.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like 80% of the stuff that people are buying on food stamps is junk. It's added sugar junk that's just making them more fat and unhealthy. So if they have to go without food stamps and they end up having to just eat off rice and beans, they're going to lose a lot of weight. And America might finally start getting skinnier and start getting healthier. And maybe we might start to see a real reduction in the cost of our health insurance in the industry because people are losing a lot of weight. They're getting a lot healthier. You know, they wake up actually feeling better in the morning. Maybe I don't have to take 24 different pharmaceuticals every day because, you know, I just shed 200 pounds thanks to the Democrat shutdown. So possible. Maybe it's possible. Man makes a public service announcement about where and when he wants to meet for snatch and grabs so they can rowdy up. Okay.
Public service announcement. Public service announcement. We all know that it's Halloween's Eve. We all know that Trump has cut off the EBT. So
Democrats.
12:30, we all meet up.
But he's probably not plugged into the news very
115th at Aldi's. 115th at Aldi's is going down. Snatch and grab. Snatch and grab. And after that shit, we gonna hit, what's that, 71st at Save-A-Lot on, bro. So y'all, let's rowdy up. You feel me?
Does he not realize he's committing a crime?
Public service announcement. Public service announcement.
Dude, you're doing a call, like a call to commit violence. That ain't First Amendment shit, dude. I mean, he might actually end up getting arrested for that video. Man claims that Trump supporters will learn a lesson after going hungry from losing EBT. Look, I read through some of the comments. I actually think I left a comment on this video, and I was like, dude, Trump supporters, they ain't gonna go hungry, dude, because they're working.
One thing that people need to understand about these SNAP benefits being cut is that 42 million people are going to be affected. And unfortunately, the people who are going to be affected the most are the people who voted for you-know-who. But one thing I can tell you is that hunger does not know or care about your voting preference. But what I can tell you is that those who voted for him and are going hungry now, you are gonna learn a very fucking valuable lesson. Share the video.
Not so much because, first off, it ain't Trump at all who's causing the shutdown. It's the Democrats. But here, let me just read through a couple of them. Well, I said I get my food the old-fashioned way, grinding at work and shopping at Aldi. 95% of the food crisis are anti-Trumpers. All right, so they're going to bring out the big one. Okay, Optimus Crime. Good grief. I voted for Trump. I've never been on EBT. We work, buddy. Yeah, we work. The vast majority of us work. LOL. Blame lies solely on the Dems at this point. Yep. This scholar didn't do the math. There are 300 plus million of us who buy our own food. Yeah, because 42 million is a pretty small amount of minority amount of people in the population. Well, we got 330 million American citizens. Trump supporters generally have jobs. Yep. So, all right. So let me just go to the next one. I'll probably do a few more. Like, how long have I been going? 2 hours, 4 minutes? Yeah, I'll do like 2 or 3 more. Then I'll call it a day. And yeah, I think I'll do a video, probably an hour or so, just watching a bunch of these, probably over the weekend. Leftist woman turns on other leftists who refuse to make donations to organizations that help people impacted by loss of EBT benefits. You sound like them. Look, I don't think that's going to surprise anyone when a leftist is like, yeah, you should donate. Oh, but I'm not going to donate. No, I'm not going to donate. But yeah, you totally should.
All the
Tax
leftists
the
and
rich.
liberals who are saying, I'm
Says
not
the
going
rich
to donate
liberals.
because what if it goes to a MAGA family and this is what they voted for? They deserve what they voted for. You sound exactly like them when they don't support food assistance programs because what if it goes to people who are taking advantage of it? Just so you know. All the leftists and liberals who...
All right. Well, that was short. Okay, so man says that he will distract grocery store employees so looters can escape with stolen goods. Just holler if you need a distraction. So we got another one of them.
Hey, just to let y'all know, if you see me in the grocery store and you didn't get your SNAP because the government shut down and your kids are hungry and you need to steal some food, I'll create a distraction. Just holler at me.
Yeah, okay. I'll believe it when I see it. Woman has a message to EBT recipients. The problem isn't the government shutting down. It's that y'all depended on the government to survive. Yep, absolutely.
The government shutting down isn't the problem. The problem is y'all depend on the government. Who said that?
All right. Woman says people should stand on business and tell their kids not this year on celebrating holidays and keep your money in your pockets to protest cuts to EBT.
I wanted to chime in on the SNAP benefits that will be coming to an end November the 1st, okay?
Notice how they all have their
There's
septum
only
piercings.
one solution to this problem, okay? So if you're receiving SNAP, okay, come on in the room and have a seat. They are deciding to suspend SNAP of 2-3 weeks before Thanksgiving, and then also going into the Christmas holiday break. It's only one way to break these motherfuckers, okay, from the foolishness, and that's break them in the pockets, okay? If I was y'all, I wouldn't buy a damn thing for the holidays. Yeah, sit your children down, explain to them that sometimes in life you have to focus on the bigger cause, okay? And when I'm hearing about these renovations at the White House, when I'm hearing about this money being sent to Argentina, and you are literally cold turkeying the American citizens who have been depending on government assistance.
Sounds like somebody's on Blue Sky.
For a while. The only way that you can get some act rights is if you go ahead and hit them in their fucking pockets. They hitting y'all in y'all pockets, hit they ass back. I don't care nothing about, hey, tell your children, not this year, okay? This year, we're fighting for a cause.
She's telling people to boycott consumerism in America. Yeah, good luck with that.
This year, we can show you better than
people
we
are
can
so
tell
addicted
you.
to buying just
So
nonsense.
I'm not going to be able to go out and buy a little Lego set this year. Okay, don't worry about it. It's your birthday coming up. I'm going to straighten you out for your birthday. But for right now, there's a point that got to be motherfucking made. Yeah. And so...
Yeah, well, I actually agree with her, just not for the same exact reason.
Okay.
Cut back on spending. Save your money.
Come together and just say, you know what? You want to renovate the White House?
Well, look, I think a lot of people would agree that if you're on food stamps, you probably shouldn't be able to afford a Lego set. If you can afford a $200 Lego set or give your kids $1,000 Christmas, then you got plenty of money to buy food. Because You know, that's supposed to be when you're in dire straits or when you're on a very strict fixed income and elderly. Man says, fuck food stamps. Y'all selling the books anyway.
Man, fuck food stamps. Y'all selling the books anyway. Stop trying to act like you feeding your fucking kids with them, and you not.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of them are just selling food stamps. Man mocks flexers who brag about living lavishly on TikTok, now crying over their EBT getting cut. That's got to be funny.
It's no way. It's no way. The same people. I can't even make this up. This can't be the same millionaire, six-figure making boss bitches that only accept Birkins and Chanel and Louis V. This can't be the same group of bitches complaining about food stamps. This can't be.
It probably is.
This can't be. Y'all was just saying $10K the new $100. $10K is equal to the new 100. Y'all done cut 2 zeros off. What happened? It can't all be because of EBT. No funny shit that just done fucked up everybody's money, nigga. That can't be, nigga. Y'all remember y'all was saying 500 a date minimum? Or else you not going? But now you crashing out because of EBT? Bitch. Matter of fact, niggas too. Cause y'all niggas is wildin'. Spaghetti's on the chain. AP, Cardi, Rolly, Balenciaga, Double G, LV, EBT?
Probably.
Man, please.
All right. Well, I think I'll just cut it there. So let me see if there's anything else good. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably going to be some other good ones to do. But yeah, I'll probably do that over the weekend. Probably do some more of these. So anyway, just one last look. 29 days, 22 hours, 23 minutes, and 50 seconds on the clock with no end in sight. Obviously, a lot of people are freaking out, especially over on TikTok, man. They're going crazy over there. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribe. And I'll drop a new show every evening covering the swamp and everyone living in it, the politicians, bureaucrats, agencies, and everything else. And I post daily episodes on X, so feel free to comment over there too if you'd like. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and God bless America.